Hello, welcome back to Visited by Voices Live on a Saturday afternoon matinee show. I am joined so far by Joseph Perdue and Al the Zodiac Killer from the Garage, Russia, Philadelphia, murder hornet.
Where I keep my body parts.
Just the parts?
Oh man, I'm echoing.
It's not horrible. So far, anyway.
Well, you're not going to believe it. A black cat just walked by me. I think we have a creek in the back, and yeah, I was like, oh my god, how about that? I'm sitting in my garage drinking and waiting for you to go live. A black cat just walked by.
Well, did it have anything? Was it hunting?
No, I mean, I just hope it doesn't jinx me. In the Russian tradition, we believe if a black cat walks by, it means doom.
That's incredibly racist towards cats.
So we have to spit 3 times over our right shoulder, kind of like
whoa. I want the logistics of spitting over your shoulder. Have me a little.
No, not spit over. I'm thinking about where you spill the salt on the table and then you got to throw it over right shoulder. We have to just spit 3 times, two, Mazel Tov. I'm also Jewish and Hebrew.
You're a big mixture of people.
Yeah, I'm a mutt. Why am I echoing? Should I come in? Should I leave the room and come back?
No. Joe, talk right now. Talk right now, Al.
Hello? So my phone was ringing. You hear me now?
I don't think you're echoing badly. I really just don't. Do you hear, Joe? Do you hear?
I hear myself.
That was my home phone.
Hold on, let me
that was ringing.
Hello?
I'm a little bad.
How about now?
I'm not hearing an echo from you.
Oh, okay. I'm fine.
Okay.
That was my home phone that was ringing.
Okay.
Damn it.
Well, this happens. Yeah. That's the nature of the live interwebs. So today is just kind of like a conversation with you guys. I don't have anything really planned. I mean, I have a few things I can talk about because I always have a few things that I can talk about, but I'm going to rely on the folks that come on the stream to keep this conversation going because I didn't do some kind of prep work for this. This is just purely the community.
Well, and that's how it should be, Lauren, because it's Saturday, it's Halloween season, we're horror fans. There's always something to talk about. Now, unless you had something in mind, but otherwise, let's just do a free-for-all. I mean, I'm just going with the flow. Joe Bob can start a topic, whatever's on his mind, and we'll just
hell to me.
This is the community, and we're Steak, by the way.
Steak may be working or sleep or working at sleep.
Well, I hope he got some sleep. He's been up for 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's 90% caffeine and 10% cocaine. He's fine. Don't worry.
Get 5% gasoline. So I got myself a watermelon malt liquor beverage.
Did you make that yourself?
No, went to Acme. Do you guys have Acme in New Jersey?
Not anymore. We used to, once upon a time.
Well, Acme sells alcohol now, and I went there in the morning.
Can't sell alcohol in our grocery stores in Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey is just the rules there. Unless I'm going to Atlantic City or coming to hang out with you and Steak or other horror fans, I try to, or Monster Mania, or Chiller Theater, or the New Jersey Horror Con. I stay away from New Jersey. And believe me, Pennsylvania, we have our problems here too.
You have separate beer stores from liquor stores from.
It's
a bunch of madness out there.
It's just there was an earthquake in Los Angeles this morning, 4.5.
Because they don't have enough going on.
Yeah, exactly. But listen, I don't want to talk about politics. I want to talk about what's near and dear to my heart. Horror.
Yeah, I'm just going to point out that anyone who wants to come on the show is absolutely invited to do so. The link is in the chat, but there is one little rule, and that is that we all have to behave and treat each other with respect, and B, the cameras on your device must be on and showing you. If you're not, then I'm afraid we're not going to be able to play that game today.
I'm surprised that what's this guy? The porn guy. Is not
he was already here.
Oh, he was.
Well, I'm assuming someone mirroring names and not showing up. So for instance, right now we have a Robert who has a camera on, but it's just a blurry static image. So until I see a face, that ain't happening. All right. So I did watch a movie this morning called Rasuk 2, which is an Indonesian film. But I'm going to show you guys an image from the movie to give you an idea just what Indonesia has in store for us compared to what we're doing. And you tell me.
It's nuts.
I like it.
It's pretty cool.
I think it gives me. I mean, first thing that comes to mind is the original Ring when I look at it.
Oh yeah.
I do like the cover art. I like the background. Like, is that like a house in the background? Is she by a gate?
No, she's in a room.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I like the cover art, but the first thing that comes to mind is Ring when I look at it. But I mean, it's a nice image. I like it. I like the cover art.
The Ring makes the Exorcist.
That's pretty fair. It's actually kind of a supernatural possession mystery. Whereas there's a woman who can see the dead, which is a trope, definitely. But she is a med school student who's going through. She's learning autopsy procedure. And you can see how that could be a problem for someone who's also able to see the dead. And it becomes about her getting haunted and then possessed and then having to fix all that by figuring out what happened to the young woman that she first saw on the autopsy table.
Interesting.
Yeah, but doesn't that sound better than, I mean, it is a sequel, but it has nothing to do with the film that came before it, which was kind of an Evil Dead type thing.
Jeez, really?
So it just seems like a lot more creativity going on overseas than here right now.
Yeah, they got better shit than us. Jesus.
Well, right now it'll change. America will have another heyday. Don't think I'm all doom and gloom. It's just at the moment we just get the retreads here, and again, Indonesia, India, Turkey, a little bit in Russia.
Yeah.
They got to stop with the goddamn CGI, but other than that, they have some things going on.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, like horror might be on the mend right now, kind of like as far as movies being released, but within the next 2.5, 3 years, we're gonna have Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Hey Cam, we're gonna have Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We're gonna have Scream 5. And Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. So that's 4 within the next 2.5, 3 years. And then,
all of those, every single title you just mentioned was a high numeraled sequel.
What does that mean, Lauren?
Well, I mean, I'm just talking about trying to get original stuff and.
Okay.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I didn't understand the statement.
At least Scream is only at part 5. unlike Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Halloween.
Well. Yeah, but Scream has also varied their concept way less than either of those other franchises.
No, I completely agree. I'm trying to find some sort of silver lining here. We're not at Scream 15 yet, with 3 reboots in between.
Well, there was a television series though. Does that count?
No,
I didn't watch it.
They didn't use the mask. It was name only.
Yep.
But I will say, I'm sorry. I was so happy though, and I'm sure Lauren was too, when they released that Crystal Lake Memories documentary. I was thrilled that they put the Friday the 13th series smack down in the middle of it, because I thought, yes, it's name only, but it really was part of the series for most of us growing up in the 80s. So I was happy about that.
It was obviously a transparent attempt just to be able to have some name recognition for a show, but it still had that same kind of scrappy can-do attitude that the films had, at least the early films had. I don't know. I consider it part of it. I think that everyone gets a little bit too precious if it doesn't have Jason and the Mask. Then it ain't Friday. Well, the series started in a different place, so
it had the same spirit, I thought. So, but unlike the Scream TV series, I didn't watch it, but I did see enough of it to know that it just was like MTV using a name to do their thing. So it wasn't part of the series.
Yeah, didn't even bother watching. I heard it was just completely terrible, and I seen a preview. I'm just like, I'm not interested.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
But much like the Friday the 13th series, the people who like seasons 1 and 2 of Scream hated season 3 because they changed the whole concept for the last season. So I know Lauren's not a big fan of season 3 of Friday the 13th, right? So
no, I'm not, and it's more than just losing Ryan. The third season just felt like it was dragging. It felt a little bit safer, a lot more episodic. I don't know. It just didn't feel like it had that same strength and power as the first 2 seasons.
Was that a syndicated show?
It was a syndicated show. It was also the number 2 syndicated show in the country when they canceled it because of pressures from the parents for responsible television.
Well, it's because they couldn't pick a time, right? So like for some areas it was like 4 in the afternoon. Where I was living, it was 10 at night. But I mean, what other show in the 80s had David Cronenberg directing episodes? You know?
Yeah. I mean, and you could tell it looked like Cronenberg too. That his Faith Healer episode looks like a Cronenberg film. So you weren't even getting a cut down, stripped down version. You were getting the real thing.
And even like Rob Hedden, I think his name is, the one who directed Jason Takes Manhattan, he did some episodes. So they brought him up to the big leagues and said, "Why don't you do Jason Takes Manhattan?" We all know how that went, but I don't know if it was entirely his fault. But I do think that his original script, there's no way Paramount was going to greenlight something that was like $100 million inside Madison Square Garden.
I don't know why Jason Takes Manhattan. I don't know if you guys are fans or not. I don't know why it gets so much hate. I actually really like Jason Takes Manhattan.
Sure.
Is it part 4? No, it's not part 4. It's a completely different atmosphere, different tone, but it has elements that I really do like. You know, aside from the good soundtrack, some of the kills I love. It just has, just something about it. Like, I've always been a fan of it, but I wouldn't put it in the same category as like 4 and 3 and 2 and obviously the original. But
I think the reason why you're gravitating towards it, Al, is because I think that you want to cling to that Paramount nostalgia Friday the 13th feel that the other films don't have going forward.
It could be. I just know that I enjoy it, but it could be, yeah.
There are worse movies out there.
Oh, absolutely.
And he's gone. I didn't do that. I think that the problem I have with Friday 8 is it has nothing to do with the concept. I would have loved just Jason on a boat for 2 hours. That would have been fine. It's a good setting. I would have liked Jason in the city. That's a good setting. I think it takes a little bit of arm wrenching to get him onto a city or onto a boat to make it feel right to me. What I don't like is how careless they had gotten at that point, and the preceding film did it as well, but how careless they got about the mythology that was kind of always a loose mythology, but it always had a dreamlike logic, and then suddenly they were playing in much more of a hard reality, but then they were taking these huge leaps of logic. And it lost that storytelling aesthetic that I love so much from the first 4 films, which is that it feels like a campfire story. It feels like an urban legend. And you can't look at 8 and feel that way. It feels like kind of a TV movie, actually, in a lot of ways, where they're over-explaining themselves.
I would argue that you got Jason Takes Manhattan, Halloween 5, which is the film I actually do like, and Dream Child. All 3 of those came out in the same summer, and they all 3 kind of suffer from the same issues, rushed, not really character oriented, lazy in other aspects, Yeah.
Especially Dream Child. God, that movie sucks dick.
I liked it. I don't, I know it gets a lot of hate. I liked it, and I know Lauren hates part 5, New Beginning. I like New Beginning. I thought it still had that 80s type of
you're talking about
woodsy, campy, I don't know. I just,
New Beginning I could watch. I thought you were talking about Dream Child.
I mean, Dream Child, it's not bad. I like it. I just don't know, But again, everybody's got their own opinions. I like it.
Yeah.
But it's not Nightmare 2, obviously. No. After Nightmare 2, everything just, we get the funny Freddy, but Nightmare 2, he's still terrifying, he's still serious, and just the tone of the movie is serious. There's not a lot of jokes, there's not a lot of dark humor. Like look at Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1, and then look at Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Same, minus Gunnar Hansen, respectfully, rest in peace, but just the whole feel and tone, it's just a completely different movie.
I guess I was just saying that. Not so much the number of the titles, but there was something in the zeitgeist in 1989 that just horror was kind of until between 89 and 92, it was on its last ropes before it was going to come back.
So what I'm going to suggest that thing is James Cameron's The Abyss. So when that movie came out, it set a new trajectory for special effects laden films. And there was this anticipation for a good 2 years before it about that movie coming. That was a very publicized movie. People knew it was coming. We have this whole, we have the ripoff phases coming through. People knew that movies were changing. And I think horror was kind of clueless about how to compete with that kind of spectacle. And then certainly in the next few years after that, when you get Terminator 2 and you get Jurassic Park very quickly thereafter, that the horror film from the 80s just couldn't really compete on the open market, or at least that was the perception. So I think like the studios were just trying to cash in by the end of the 80s because they knew things were changing. Maybe even young Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, no, that was 1985.
That was 85, right?
Yeah, 85.
But I think even that might have been the first indication to them that things were going to change in a way that they couldn't fight. When you have stained glass CGI characters that look good on screen, suddenly, like, you're not going to give that kind of special effects budget to a horror film because you know what your return looks like. You need these big tentpole pictures were rising, and the horror film has always existed more in the margins, safe margins, but margins. I think they just got lazy. Nightmare 5 is a case of they overcompensated for 4. They said, we made too bright and happy a movie, so let's make everyone miserable for an hour and a half. Which on paper I like, but I didn't like the film. Jason Takes Manhattan. It was just they said we've made so many films of him in the woods. The audience is giving us a little bit less at the box office every time. We need something different, and they didn't realize the setting was not what the problem was. Not really. The problem was that the formula had been done 7 times in 9 years. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Running out of gas.
Right. And I'm nostalgic for 8, where I'm not for 5, but I fully recognize that it is not a good film. It's just there's things I like about it. Sure, there's things I like about almost everything. There's things I like about Aliens, for Christ's sake, but doesn't change my overall feelings on the film.
But it's just a story. That's the problem.
If Paramount had kept Friday the 13th, where on earth would they have taken it after him turning back into a little kid in the sewer system?
I don't even want to know, Cameron.
Honestly, they should have, and I've said this before, they should have stopped at 4 somehow. Like, I don't know, maybe change the ending, kill him in a different way where it's like believable that okay, the franchise is over, Jason's dead, because after 4. It just wasn't the same. I mean, Final Chapter was absolutely amazing. I love Final Chapter.
Oh,
Jason Lives, and I love Jason Lives as a movie. I think it's
yeah, I do too. But I just think that they should have just stopped at 4. But
Jason Lives is the last one you can tell that there was love and inspiration with in the Paramount years. So as much as we like to talk about the 7th film, for some reason, it is one of the laziest. I mean, it recycles Part 4's basic setup, just adds a telekinetic girl to it, which they just took from somewhere else.
It just doesn't work.
No, it doesn't, and it's an ugly film. It has obviously the look of Jason is great, but the cinematography is as muddy and ugly as anything out there. It's
I think it's got some decent kills, but
if they were on screen though, they're not.
If you don't have a good story.
But that's the thing. Also, kills don't always make the movie. I mean, yeah, I like the kills of it, but overall, the movie, I didn't like 7.
If you don't have that story, what's the point?
It wasn't like brutal and terrifying like Part 4. It wasn't like it was just it was a fun film. I liked it, but it just didn't have that same. It didn't give me that same feeling that Part 4 and 3 did. It didn't have that same atmosphere, that same cinematography, that same, the feel and tone as
well, they put a little bit more money into the later films, even though it's in comparatively to other films, it wasn't very much money, but it was a little more money than 3 and 4. Although 4 looks pretty expensive compared to part 3. So.
And that's the thing, Cam, and I've said this to Lauren before. Nowadays, like today, with all the money and new technology and CGI, I don't think horror is better today than it was in the 70s and 80s. I prefer to watch VHS over Blu-rays, and I have plenty of Blu-rays. I just think that horror was better done. Like I remember, man, like in '98, getting stoned, cutting class, and going to my local mom and pop video store and just like browsing around the horror section for an hour, completely stoned, and renting like 4 movies. But that's what I missed. That's the good old days of horror, And,
I miss the bootleg tables at the convention days of horror.
Yeah.
I've heard stories about them.
I think there's something to be
said. The memories.
I think there's something to be said about obscurity,
I'll drink to that.
Making things more valuable to us. Certainly, I collected a lot of things that today I would never go out of my way for because I know the movies now. But I think that if it's a weird balance, because on one hand, being able to get movies for the first time and watch them at home, and especially films that weren't available wide, VHS was an amazing time.
Yeah,
I don't think it was the technical limitations that we fell in love with, though. I think it was the experience of being able to see this stuff that we had never had access to, and see it not on television where the stuff was cut out of it.
Yeah.
And for the films that were really unavailable, which is what Cam's talking about, when you walked into a convention and saw things on a table that maybe you'd read one paragraph in a reference book about. Life changed when you were able to pick that up and go home. It built the love of horror that this entire generation has. But I don't think it was the limitations. I think people tend to think, oh, well, no, I only want to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre on a grimy VHS tape because it helps the movie. I don't really buy that logic. I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre is powerful for its own reasons, and we shouldn't demean it that way. But I agree with you that you can't, for our generation, we can't escape the fact that those VHS and bootleg collectible days, and a little bit later, getting all your Asian imports on VCD, because that was the cheap way to be able to do it, that made you feel accomplished as a fan, and it made you love it even more. We can't escape that, but I don't think it's objectively made the films better. If anything, we probably were too forgiving of movies.
If Blu-ray had been the format that came out instead of beta or VHS, we'd be reminiscing about all that, So, but what's funny is I think I know Piz was like this, and I think Lauren was like this, and I was like this too. When I heard that Texas Chainsaw was getting a Blu-ray, I was like, okay, that's gonna look just way too pretty. And then when you saw it, you go, no, what it actually did is it made you see that it was actually a real film.
A real film, and they made stylistic choices to make it look bleached out in places and to make it look dark. I mean, it made it more powerful, I think. I could never go back.
Yeah, Chainsaw is one of those films, regardless of the format. VHS, beta, Laserdisc, DVD, Blu-ray, it all looks great.
Yeah. And I worry about, because we're so CGI reliant, and I'm not talking about CGI characters or special effects per se. We're like enhancing sets with CGI now on a regular basis. Car crashes are all CGI now. We don't crash cars on sets anymore. I worry that as technology goes on and this stuff's going to look really bad. And yet a car crash from the 70s is still going to look pretty good.
Even Mad Max.
You're right, Lauren. You're right. And that's what pisses me off. And I'll tell you, as much as I love 2018 Suspiria, the ending was like, I mean, come on. CGI, like just I'm like, you know what, they probably should have done things differently, because it was just clearly like, all CGI, and you could tell, and it was just it just kind of like took some, it took a little bit away from me from, as much as I love that film, but just the CGI, just
think of the end of Life Force, where we have miniatures, we have optical effects, we have perception, we have like perception tricks as far as size of elements. We have so much real filmmaking. Again, if you read that screenplay, you would have been like, there is no way in 1985 we're pulling this off. This is impossible. someone needs to rewrite this, but they found a way. Today, because you just start coding. Yeah.
Well, Lauren, cocaine's a hell of a drug and can make you reach the limits. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. But I worry that we don't have to reach the limits. We don't have to reach for anything now. You just pay a technician to figure it out. Bam.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you? I love the shirt, dude.
Thank you.
When Suspiria 2018 was, I think almost like 8 months before it came out, I remember saying to the group of what was then the Sausage Factory, hey, the rough screenings are 3 hours long. And Piz was going, well, that's never going to make it. They're going to cut that. And then they released a 3 hour long movie.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, am I the only one that saw it in the theater here?
I've seen it 3 times in the theater.
You saw it 3 times in the theater. Wow.
Correct. I loved it so much. I've seen it 3 times in the theater. Yes.
So I could definitely hear like the people around me,
and I have it downloaded on my phone.
But I remember people shifting around. They felt the 3 hours definitely. It's a dense movie. And I'm glad I saw it. I just don't really want to revisit it.
It was classy. They got Jessica Harper to come back though,
especially since she's a hard get. She doesn't work. She released those children's albums in the early 90s and never looked back.
Ew.
Oh, they're hilarious. You should definitely. Do you love Jessica Harper, Joe?
I've heard the name. I don't know much about her.
But if you know her from Shock Treatment or from Phantom of the Paradise, you know she can sing. That's a horrific understatement.
Phantom of the Paradise, is that from the 70s?
It is from the 70s.
I've heard that title. I've heard that title thrown around a bunch of times.
It's one of my favorite films. Period.
Okay.
It's in my top 10.
Ooh.
It's Brian De Palma before he became Brian De Palma.
It's Brian De Palma before people told Brian De Palma what his career was going to be. It's an insane film. I mean, it is Faust and Phantom of the Opera smashed together, which is a natural fit. But then it is also a 70s rock musical. It is a social commentary on where music was at the time, but it also featured. It was 74, right? 73 or 74?
Yeah, 74.
Right. But the crazy thing about that movie is that it completely illustrates where music would be about 5 years later than it. Like it's shockingly like precipient. It's amazing.
It's the movie that, believe it or not, got Paul Williams on The Muppet Show.
Yeah. And he's awesome in it. As Swan. Rod Serling does the voice for the intro. It's great. It's just an insanely great movie.
Jessica Harper, I think, is one of the most underrated actresses of the 70s. And if you go back and you look at the films that she was in, she was quality in all of them. Even if you didn't like the movie, she was great.
Yeah. She even like manages to keep the Evictors floating, which is no small thing because it's a fairly boring film. But she's great in it. Al's like, I've never seen a Jessica Harper film.
Jessica Harper.
Jessica Harper.
Yeah, was she the one in the original Suspiria?
She was.
Of course. I'm familiar with Jessica Harper.
Cool.
Absolutely. I thought she did great in the short cameo that she had in Suspiria, you know.
So
2018.
What's going on today, man? You're quiet.
To me?
Tim's being shy.
What's going on?
Let me just throw this question out to you guys. If you were to make, obviously, you know, it depends on the story, blah, blah, blah. But if you could pick maybe two or three of your favorite horror actors to be in a film that you wrote and directed, what three, regardless of time, would you pick to be in your film? Who would you like to work with as an actor?
Oh, wow. Oh, man. That's a hell of a question, Cam. When
you say
God.
Horror, actors? Are you talking people who work almost exclusively in the genre, or just anyone who's been in?
I know you, Lauren. You're gonna find some obscure, amazing person from 1931, and
no.
Does it have to be two males, or can it be male, female?
Anybody. Just give me 2 or 3 names that you would love to work with.
Okay, number 1 is going to be definitely the late great Donald Pleasance. Number 2, Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean,
Sounds
I know
like
it's
you're
kind
making
of
Halloween.
No, well, but they're acting like I like her as an actress. She's really good, you know.
Yeah.
And she played in a lot of other good movies that I thought were really good.
True
other movies, you know, and Donald Pleasance. I mean, what movie was that? How can you ever say he was bad in any role? He always, you know, brought everything, you know.
He definitely brought the gravitas even in Phenomena, you know.
Yeah, it's such a tough question because you have so many people. I mean, you have Gunnar Hansen, you know, rest in peace. You have Robert Englund. You have there's just so many. That's such a tough question. You know what? I think I'm gonna stick with my original answer. You know, but I don't know. It's just so hard. I mean, I don't even know. I might have to retract that answer. You know, but definitely Donald Pleasance. That's number 1.
I'd like to throw this question out to the chat.
That's a hard question, Cameron. That is very hard. It's a good question. It's like so unanswerable.
It's kind of like who's your best kid? Who's your favorite kid?
That should be Lauren. That should be a question of the year on your show, man. That's a damn hard good question, man.
Everyone in the chat should ask us that.
Well, it looks like they're answering it in the chat pretty well. For me, Dwight Fry, Kim Coates, Aquanetta. There's a cast for you.
Who is Aquanetta? I don't know this person.
Lead of Captive Wild Woman and one of the Inner Sanctum movies.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look
Dead Man's Eyes.
The one name that comes to mind is Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds was a good actor.
He was more than the Bandit.
Yeah, Burt Reynolds was a good actor.
Hell yeah.
Kurt Russell has to be, like, just on set, probably one of the most fun people to work with.
That'd be number 2.
Yeah, I'd almost want to work with difficult people on the set, though, because those are the movies that are remembered.
I would have thought you would have chosen Elsa Lanchester.
I mean, look, Bride of Frankenstein is obviously like top tier for me, but it's a little bit tough because outside of Bride of Frankenstein and Murder by Death, Willard, there's just not really that much horror stuff from her.
But Dwight Fry, he was pretty versatile. I mean, looking at Dracula and obviously he was the go-to guy for Universal for many of them.
Yes. Ken, Robert, but there is a bit of a metallic echo. Do you have headphones or something? Okay. I'm just going to mute you for a second, Robert, if you can see about finding headphones or something.
I believe he's watching the video at the same time, so it's like there's an echo.
Okay, that's what it is. Headphones would take care of that, though. It might be distracting. Robert, see if you can find some headphones, man, because otherwise you're feeding back right into it. Kind of like when I put my generator up to the power lines outside and electrocute the people working out there.
It's like listening it's like watching the YouTube video as well, and you're part of the damn thing.
Yeah. Dwight Fry was very versatile, but he was also really underrated for being able to like slip into a role probably too deeply, more than Method. And I think you need someone like that for horror to really play, because I know everyone loves Robert Englund, and I like some performances a lot, but he's acting, right? He doesn't have that madman streak that I think that a lot of the great performances, whether it's Bette Davis or Bela Lugosi had, whereas you know that they were so deeply into what they were doing that.
Dwight Fry as Renfield, he's so scary. Those looks he gives, I mean, you feel like he's going to eat you alive.
Yeah.
More than Dracula.
Griffin, I think we started off trying to talk about actors we'd like to work with, but hey, Robert, how are you doing now?
Can you hear me?
We can. Are you watching the stream?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
What do you have on in the background there, sir?
You don't want to get a copyright strike.
13 part 2. Friday 13 part 2.
Friday 13th part 2.
Nice. Good choice.
All right. Wow. I guess we're all watching Friday 13th part 2. So what about you, Robert? What would be actors you would prefer? If you were casting a horror film, what actors would you put in it? All right.
Oh, Hawkins.
Tim.
Bo Hawkins.
Bo Hawkins?
You seen 1984 Mutants?
I think Al's lost
You
it.
seen 1984 Mutants?
Mutant? The not quite a zombie movie. This is starting to get weird here, guys.
Yeah, I hate weird.
And he was in 1983 Sweet 16.
I
just want to make it clear, this time it's not my fault.
Yeah. All right, let's see something just to dream about. All right, I think I'm alone except for you, Al.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Let's Joe Bob. Can you speak for a second?
No.
Apparently not.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh.
Hey Tim, speak up for a second.
What's going on?
Hey, I don't know.
Thanks, Robert.
Yeah.
I should think he's doing this on purpose.
You think so?
Oh man.
All right.
If I unmute my mic, my kid's singing Old McDonald, so that's why I'm muted.
I gotcha. It might be the best part of the show upon rewatch. So I just want to go through the chat here. Some people that they're suggesting. So Jacob out there is saying Jessica Harper. He's answering a different question. Sorry. Nico says Roby, John LeMay, and Tom Atkins.
John DeLeMay, he said?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good actor, John DeLeMay.
Oh, yeah.
From Jason Goes to Hell.
And the television show. Captain Halloween says Robert Englund and Anthony Hopkins. I think those two styles might clash a little bit.
That's a good one. Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Perkins. Too. You know.
Sure. Jacob is going with Boris Karloff, Dwayne Jones, Edward Finech. I can never pronounce that name. Also, Joan Crawford, Robert Mitchum. Oh, that's good, actually. That's a great.
Who said that?
Jacob. Jacob did.
Jacob. Good job.
There you go. There we go. Who else? Griffin says John Hurt, Vincent Price, and Sissy Spacek.
Sissy Spacek, I love Coleman's daughter.
Some good picks in the chat room.
Yeah, I'll tell you, they're doing better than we are. Because
John Hurt was John Hurt in the original Alien?
Was John Hurt an Alien?
Yeah. I know.
Sure.
I think he was.
You think so?
Yeah.
Hey, Ames, how did Miss Amy Barbosa Pompo has joined the chat? How are you?
What about William Hurt?
Yeah, William Hurt. Oh, he's a good actor too.
Yeah, William Hurt. Yeah.
Do you guys think that it actually? I actually think I like seeing new actors or actors I'm not familiar with in horror films. I think it helps me because since these are films about mortality and morality,
Author states.
I think it just helps to create that unpredictability about who will survive, who won't survive, etc. What do you guys think? Would you rather see established actors in horror, or would you rather see unknowns?
Both.
I'll go with
Independent. I think unknowns, established Hollywood movies, stars.
I agree.
I say both because why not? Get a little bit best of both worlds.
I just worry a little bit when you see someone that's from a television show that's popular, and then the rest of the cast are unknowns. You kind of know who's going to make it to the third act. I think it's a little bit more effective when you, for instance, or if it's people from lower budgeted films or less well known films altogether. So like something like an April Fool's Day, given its take its ending away, you didn't know which one was going to actually be the last one standing, most likely. I think that's a pretty effective.
I enjoyed April Fool's Day. I thought it was good. April Fool's Day. It had me fooled.
Very good film.
Me fooled. But Lord, this goes back to look at young George Clooney and Return to Horror High, and where that took him. So Kevin Bacon. A lot of people started in the 70s, 80s horror movies that went on to have successful careers in Hollywood.
That's true. And there's a lot of people who it didn't.
Yeah, that's true too. I'm one of them.
Oh, were you in a?
No.
An acting career we don't know about, Al?
Middle school camcording. I was a director recording horror movies with friends.
Murder Hornets, the motion picture.
Yeah, from Washington State.
You gonna upload those, Al?
What's up, Tim?
You gonna upload those videos, those movies?
You know what? If I did, it would be absolutely hilarious. I think I still have it somewhere upstairs. No, I don't think I'm going to upload them, but they were pretty good, Tim. I was a director. Basically, what I did was, it was always in the summertime and always like around September, October. At the middle school I went to, like on the weekends, I would go there with a bunch of friends, maybe anywhere from 7 to 10. We would get like all these like fake props and masks and clothing and fake blood, and I would be the director. Some scenes I would be in, so I would be directing. Like, okay, here's what you do: you come out running this way, you chase her. I'll film that. I'll pause it, and then we'll do a continuation from a different. Like, it was cool, man. It was cool. Like, I had a knack for it, but it's just I don't know. Maybe I should go to Tom Savini's a school in Pennsylvania, the art school where they teach you to be special effects. I don't know. I don't know.
I'll let you remake the next Friday the 13th film.
Sounds good, Tim. I'll have you, Lauren, and Joe Bob on. We'll figure it out. Guys. In all seriousness, I think if we get like everybody who's like on the shows and everything, like I think we could do a good horror movie. If we had the budget, and got together, and I think we could do a great fucking horror movie. Absolutely.
I
like if somebody threw us,
the money is the problem.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something like if somebody threw us and said, like, if I won the lottery tomorrow, for example, and I played sometimes, if I won, I don't know, a couple million or 100, or like say like 300 million, I would gather everybody up. Mm-hmm. We would, fly people who are from overseas or are regular in the show who want to participate in it. I would pay for your expenses, and I think we could do a good horror movie and find somebody to pitch it to. Get an agent, find somebody to pitch it to. Because if you have the money, you have the connections.
Well, looks good, but I quit drinking.
I don't think Al would force you to quit drinking at all. I think he'd encourage that.
I'm drinking right now. Wait, who's drinking? Robert, you drinking, you said? I got a malt liquor, 12%. Wait, who said drinking? Was it Robert or Tim?
Yeah, it's Robert.
Oh, Rob, what are you drinking, man? Rob, what are you drinking?
No, I quit drinking. I cut too.
Oh.
Oh, you quit. Well, cheers, anyways, and cheers to Tim. Tim, what are we drinking, Tim?
Everclear.
Yeah.
What is it?
Gin and tonic.
Gin and tonic, nice. I got a watermelon, some kind of mixed watermelon drink. It's like 12%, but it's doing the job because I'm feeling it.
Now, have you already talked about Toby Hooper already?
No,
well,
not yet.
I just picked up a book. I was wondering if anybody read it.
I've not.
I haven't. I haven't read that book. I read Gunner's book, the Hollywood Chainsaw.
Yeah, I read that one too.
I thought that's pretty good.
Chainsaw Confidential.
Yeah. He signed it for me even at Monster Mania. You know, Gunner was such a nice guy. You know, he was just.
Good book. I like that one.
So soft spoken, really nice guy.
Yeah,
you know,
he was kind of like a grandfather. He was just so down.
I mean, I never had. I've been going to Monster Mania, and Lauren's familiar with Monster Mania, and I'll probably see Lauren and whoever's local in March at Monster Mania if he goes. I've never had any bad experience with anybody I met. You know, the last 4 years I haven't done any horror conventions because, you know, I bought a house, car, and I got to save money and work. But when I was living with my mother and father, you know. It was different because I could, you know, save money, and I was doing horror conventions twice a year, spending $300, $400 at horror conventions, you know. And some of those people you got to know, but it's just, you know, I never had any bad experience, but I did witness Tom Savini. He was really ignorant to some fan. Like the guy was being nice. I think maybe he was a little bit, I don't know. He was asking him a question, and Tom Savini kind of looked at his manager like he just shook his head, like, you know. I thought that was kind of ignorant, but you know, Tom Savini's been known to be a little bit.
Things about Tom Savini.
I mean, Tom Savini has a little.
He had an attitude problem.
He could be a little bit nicer to fans.
He had to criticize Gunnar Hansen's staff, along with another little face I should not mention, but we know who it is.
Andrew Bernarski. Fuck yep. Andrew Bernarski. Andrew Bernarski is a piece of shit. First of all, I'm an animal lover. Okay, and when I used to have Facebook, I don't have Facebook anymore because I don't do any social media. I just do YouTube. I think social media is gay. No offense to whoever does it. I don't mean no disrespect, but you know, anybody who needs me knows my number. You know, I don't need to connect with somebody I went to middle school with. It didn't, you know. So, the long story short, Andrew Bernarski, when he got arrested, like for 10 years ago or something, he was like selling dogs from his house, but then they raided the house and it was all filthy. And then Andrew, he was so bad at conventions they had to kick him out, and he was getting drunk and he was fighting with people. You know, and he's a big guy, you know, but listen, you know, he's 6'3", you know, I'm 5'11", but, you know, I don't care, man. You know, you're going to attack me, I'm going to defend myself. I don't care how big you are. If I lose, guess what? I lose. But as far as I'm concerned, Andrew Bernarski should be, unless he changed his attitude, he should be banned from all horror conventions, which I don't think he is. I think he changed. He's a little bit nicer now. He's more, you know, you can go up. Before, he was just a complete dickhead. You know, just the fans and thinking
he was gonna be all that after the 2003 remake. But you know,
and it was good. I love the 2003 remake, but that's no excuse to be a complete asshole.
No, I'm surprised.
It was right after Gunnar Hansen passed away. He criticized him.
Yeah, and he disrespected Gunnar. You know, there's videos of that.
Some fan, I don't know if it's a convention or someone on social media said, "Why are you so hateful about Gunnar Hansen?"
He was just a hateful person. He was just on drugs, and he was in his biker world, and you know, he was just.
I've never been this kind of. I've never been that kind of guy.
He was a mess at conventions. He was a mess. I've talked to the people who run the convention. They're like, we can't have this guy back. It was a mess. He was getting drunk. He was starting fights. Cops were called. You know, like
come
on, man. You know, grow up, dude.
Yeah.
You know, like you know.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Lauren, but wasn't Gunnar Hansen like first approached about reprising Leatherface in 2003 before they went to Brzezinski.
Yes.
I could have sworn they did.
Cameron, you're right.
I saw that story too.
So maybe that's another reason why he hates him.
Well, that's also a good point. Thinking about the new project, and a lot of people are upset about it. They keep pointing out, 60-year-old Leatherface, and I just don't know what. I think people, especially if you're younger, might not have a clue. But I know a number of 60-year-olds that could kick my ass 7 days a week.
Oh,
7 days a week. I don't think 60 is a big deal. An 80-year-old Leatherface probably would be a big deal. 60 just means they're trying for some kind of continuity. And I think that could be scary.
Even that movie,
look at the Friday.
Was it Don't Breathe?
Cam, sorry, go ahead.
No, was that movie Don't Breathe or something about the couple that sneak into the older guy's house?
Yes.
And he basically kicks their ass. I mean, that guy I truly would fear. I think that he could kill us all.
Well, that's what I've always said about that. Actually, we should be leaning on older actors for horror more, because there's a great track record. When you have your Julian Becks show up at the twilight of their life to do Poltergeist 2, he just walks away with the movie. Right. I mean, and he was a great actor, but he wasn't at the height of his acting power in his waning years because the cancer was killing him. But I think we should lean into that. I think that there's something there. I think if you cast Freddy, cast someone much older.
That was the original concept.
A scary old spindly man with knife fingers is much scarier than someone young and fit.
But even like someone like Betty Davis completely changed her career after whatever happened to Baby Jane. I mean, look at that and Watch Her in the Woods and everything in between.
Absolutely.
She changed her whole career, and she's now known more for her sinister performances than her Jezebel performances.
She did some TV movies before she passed away. I remember some promos, CBS promos.
She did whatever her agent was forcing her to do at that point. And it's unfortunate, but
I've seen a bunch of those, some promos that she did for TBS movies.
But you see, that's the thing. I think that horror tends to be too like the slasher thing. I get you want a bunch of young kids, and I get that. Mm-hmm. But I think anywhere else in horror, it's the stronger pieces are with adult actors at the very least. But I think that there is definitely a place for elderly actors because it's about mortality and morality. It works thematically, which is why even a film that I don't think is terribly successful, Ghost Story, still has a lot of gravitas to it because of those.
Yeah.
And even the original Suspiria, getting like Joan Bennett in there and stuff like that, it works.
Yeah. So I think I'd like to see more of that, but they're so worried that teenagers won't show up to the horror film unless they see themselves everywhere in the movie. And I think that's a huge mistake. Because as a kid, with me growing up, that I never looked to project onto the screen when I went to a horror. That was not what I was doing.
So a guest you recently had on here, Gory Corey, she just wrote. Yes, she just published an essay on the Shudder website about how teenagers today that are around her age, because she is a teenager, they don't even see themselves in the current films like the way the teenagers saw themselves in Scream, and she thinks that's a problem. Like, older people aren't seeing themselves and younger people aren't seeing themselves. So who is seeing themselves currently in the horror movies?
Well, I think in any movies, though, I've said this forever, but where's the middle class in cinema today?
Mm-hmm.
It's rich people and dirt poor people, and the middle class just doesn't exist in cinema anymore. And unfortunately, that's who we're all most likely to identify with. I like the idea of seeing like people go to work in a film, and then the plot intercepts them. Maybe it drives them out of their normal life, but we have to start from a position of a normal life.
Would you say that in Last House on the Left, the original, is that couple supposed to be upper class or middle class?
Remember her on Bird Offerings?
Robert, I think you're running a little bit behind your stream. It's going to take you a while to hear me say that. So,
I mean, would you say the first Last House on the Left is about the poor versus the upper middle class? Do you think like wealth plays a role in that scenario?
I think it might be. I don't know if it's because I don't get the impression that the psychopaths are any better off necessarily, but I think there's definitely an urban versus rural thing going on in the movie, and I think that's why the cops are important, and I think that's why the chicken truck is important. And
Yeah.
I understand that they're really broad, and that throws people, but what was being said is important. Like these kids going to the rock concert in the city. They walk over a social boundary, and that's that whole again mortality and morality thing. And unfortunately, the only way to effectively tell that story is with what they did. I mean, no one thinks that the rape scenes in that film are fun, but I'd actually say that the rape scenes are not as bad as the humiliation scenes. That's when the movie really tends to turn people off, because it's one thing, just the sex and violence is one thing. But to actually just humiliate someone mercilessly because you can, and I think that plays into the whole how does the city dweller look at the country people who live out in the sticks. That's why that first scene of the country mailbox with the heart drawn on it is, again, it's so charming and innocent, and it's not urban at all.
Have you seen Star Dogs?
Star Dogs.
Straw Dogs. That's a good movie.
Yes, I have seen Straw Dogs.
Very good movie.
Yeah, they just made a remake, which is
regrettable.
It's bad. Oh God, it's bad.
But isn't it wonderful when we talk about movies that aren't trying to get teenagers into the theater in the genre? How we can have discussions about what they're about? It's frustrating. It's frustrating that, let's work the rap song onto the soundtrack because it's popular today, or let's work the 80s metal track because it was 1988 into the movie. I just want to think of cinema on a different level, and I want the horror to be able to be enjoyed for years and years and years without them being forced into a time period.
Well, that was so great about what Carpenter did with his remake of The Thing. It's like, let's get a whole bunch of middle-aged guys, no women, no teenagers, no rock music. It's nothing but heavy hats and snow. That's what happens.
You know what the most frustrating thing is, guys? And I know Lauren would probably agree, or not, is
one of the
getting your hopes up for a movie that you want to be good, you expect it to be good, you're so excited to see, and then you see the trailer and you're like, and like me, I'm really excited for the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. I hope they get it right. I really do. I hope it's not like that piece of garbage Leatherface. Texas 3D wasn't bad. It was just a little too Hollywood.
3D.
But I hope they get Scream right. Halloween Kills. Lauren kind of, pitched on that where it's going to kind of go, but we'll see. Like I said, I might love it. I might be like, whoa, this is, and Halloween Ends. I don't even, know what they're going to do with that. And then we have what else is coming out?
Damn.
I don't know, but it's just, like I remember for like when I heard about Texas Chainsaw 3D. And that's the least movie I want to talk about right now. Like, I do not want to be talking about Texas Chainsaw 3D, but I was just so excited. I was so excited, and then like for 2 years, I was so excited. I was always like every week I was looking up if there's any new articles, anything new in that movie, and then they released the poster, and I'm like, whoa. You see all the faces and the girl's head's chopped off, and it's in a glass container with water, and I'm just like, oh my god! Like,
that was cool.
Yeah, it was Joe Bob. The poster was great, but then a week later they released a trailer, and I'm like, okay, here we go, and I'm like, and then the trailer, I'm like, okay, like what is this? I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like, it just had that. It just, listen, to me, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D. The best parts was the beginning, revisiting the original in 3D, see, having the audience see that, and then after that, it just gets silly, and it was good seeing Gunner in it, and John Dugan and Bill Moseley, but
gentlemen, could you hold on just a moment? I just got an alert that might be something very interesting. So if you guys
hold down the
conversation for a moment, I'll be right back.
Okay. So Al, the thing that makes when you bring all that up, the thing that makes me immediately think of is when we heard for about a year or so that Tim Burton was going to make Dark Shadows,
right?
And so we had in our minds, all of us collectively as horror fans had in our minds just an amazingly dark, gothic horror movie that he was going to do, like Sleepy Hollow or Sweeney Todd or something like that. And then we got the trailer, and it was like
comedy.
Exactly, Cameron. Exactly. I know your I know your sentiments, and my sentiments exactly. That's how I felt. Like, that's exactly like for Nightmare on Elm Street. And I've said this plenty of times on the stream. I walked out. I went to see it with 4 friends. 10 minutes in, and like they're not like horror fans like I was. They're just but I walked out. I'm like, are you kidding? I'm like, I can't sit through this. It was so bad. I just walked out. You
could tell that the first 10 minutes of that movie was like the third reshoots of that opening 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was just terrible, man. It was just horrible.
I look at that poster and I'm like, comedy.
Yeah, it was just terrible.
About Elm Street or Dark Shadows?
Dark Shadows.
Oh, okay, because he was talking about Elm Street. I was confused.
Either way,
it's just
either way you go.
Either can't lose or can't win with that argument. So
I just miss 80s and 90s old school horror. I mean, nowadays.
Hang on, we have breaking news here.
It's not the news I thought it was going to be. I thought we were going to have real breaking news, but considering where it came from, although it's interesting, the Sci-Fi Network are doing a Friday the 13th marathon leading in the days leading up to Halloween, and they will be premiering the new scans.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but are they going to show anything good? Are they going to keep it? Probably not.
The nudity will. I'm sure the nudity will be gone, but I can't imagine them cutting anything else.
Just
at this point.
Blur out the boobs.
I have them all on my phone in Blu-ray, so I don't need to.
What was considered R-rated back in 1981 is what they show on the FX network every night now. So.
I can't. I really can't imagine.
Exactly, Cam. Exactly.
But you can understand when that alert came up, what I thought it was.
Did a few years ago when they talked about doing a Friday the 13th TV series again, but this time with Jason, did that get shut down because of the lawsuit, or did that get shut down because it was a terrible idea?
It got shut down because it was going to be too expensive for what would be on the other side. As far as the problem is, Crystal Lake Chronicles was going to be very episodic, but it would have an arc, and then like the last 2 episodes every season would be like just the story. But they couldn't quite. There was always a resistance with every network they approached, because how much Jason can you have in it? Does he have to show up every episode? Could you go 3 episodes without Jason? Would there be other plots going on? It was very much going to be Twin Peaks in Crystal Lake. I mean, that's pretty much what they were doing, with a bunch of.
You would have to create such a mood, such an atmosphere to make you think that Jason could be there at any second, but not deliver that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and apparently the pilot episode was written. That teleplay exists, and people say it was very, very good, but no one can imagine continuing it for a season, let alone multi-seasons. So they just couldn't really nail it down. It had the right creative team behind it, though. I got to tell you, I mean, it was looking really solid. I was more excited about that than another movie, to be honest with you.
A miniseries, I think, would have been a decent idea.
What they really need to do is, if they're going to do that, is just write like a big 4 or 5 hour Friday the 13th film, and then just cut it into episodes, rather than trying to do beginning, middle, and end for every episode, because that is where it's going to feel like protracted.
That could have been my direction.
Well, they need to figure out how a long form Friday the 13th would work. So I mean, they're not MacGuffin based films, right? Which is the cheat that most television series use, is that there's this thing that has to get here, and Friday the 13th doesn't work that way. By nature, it's more a matter of cutting down the cast in slow succession. It's the Agatha Christie and Then There Were None thing.
Jess is here.
He is.
They could have done a whole season of
Jess, cheers,
yeah.
cheers, man.
Al, sorry, guy.
No, you're good.
Cheers.
Cam, what are you thinking they could have done?
Oh, I was going to say, if Tommy Jarvis in the hospital, that could have been like a season of television.
I think there's a lot they could do, period. I stand by my fact that we've seen the massacre enough. I want to see the day after the massacre. That's really what I want to see. I want to see people trying to pick up their lives, but the nightmare's not over. But it's not necessarily about a summer camp and teens going off in couples and not coming back.
It's not quite Halloween 2, Scout Taylor Compton. PTSD.
Yeah, exactly. But I would love the idea.
I don't want to talk about Rob Zombie's Halloween. Oh, man.
I'd just love to see the next day of any of those movies, to be honest with you.
Well, didn't we get the next day in Friday 13 Part 3, but they just moved on?
He told me to warn thee.
I hate it so much. That was such a bad idea to try and replace Ralph. Trying to replace Ralph is awful.
It's funny, though, because like when you go back as an adult and you watch things like Final Chapter, which again, is a film I like, having Pamela Voorhees just buried off the side of the road like that is so random.
Yeah, that was little. But the kill was so... See, this is why I think Friday the 13th Part 4 to me, and I've said this before, I don't know if some of you would agree. I mean, I would assume so. I think it was the most brutal Jason in that one. I mean, the kills and...
I'd agree with that.
I mean, man, just so vicious and mean and angry Jason.
It's the only film where a dog committed suicide. So.
Yeah, it was just so brutal and vicious,
So you know what the funniest thing about that is like the dog going out the window had to have some context that did not make it into the final film. It had to. Mm-hmm. But it was being used to reflect when Trish jumps out the window to escape Jason. It was meant to mirror it, but without whatever was there, it's just bizarre. Gordon takes a leap. I don't know. And he's not even being followed at the time because we actually know where Jason is. It's just suddenly the dog decides, fuck it, I'm out.
And I completely must have blocked that from my head until we did a screening of it on my channel with Piz and everybody. And I was watching it going, I don't even remember this part, but this is so bizarre. What were they thinking?
Turn a negative into a positive, Jonathan.
But I think one of the things that I love is in Friday.
What happened? What's so funny?
What the fuck?
Laura, what's so
We're
funny?
talking about a dog jumping out a window, and suddenly
what happened?
Joe Purdue goes, make a negative into a positive, right, Jonathan? And Jonathan unmutes and then a moment later mutes himself. I mean, it's kind of a moment that you can't.
I was just saying,
script this stuff.
Why
we're live.
From Mob to Mr. Bombastic. That's what I meant by that.
In the house, Bombastic.
So
in the house.
I want to give a shout out to Mr. Bombastic. Those were great questions on the last game show that you hosted.
Dude, he had the tuxedo on like Lauren did, and when Lauren hosted it.
That was my queen.
It made the vaping look that much cooler, so.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate it.
No, you did a great job, and I just wanted to give you a shout out on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you hadn't tailored the first batch of questions right to Christian, I would have had a chance.
But it made me. It made me.
Pinocchio's Revenge. Really?
I thought everybody had seen Pinocchio's Revenge.
It did make me really start to think about because I honestly thought that like Lauren was giving the questions. I didn't realize the host was making the questions. So I was like, oh yes, if I ever get the opportunity to host this thing, I know exactly what I'm going to be asking.
Well, I made so many questions, and I would go, no, that's way too easy. Like that, like everybody knows that, right? And then like I thought I'm throwing softballs, and like, I don't know. It just makes you appreciate how different everyone's taste.
You have to understand that like off camera, in the chat, watching, everybody knows everything. It's when the lights are on, the pressure's on, you just go blank.
That's for sure.
Even a softball question might like stump some people.
I wouldn't dare get on the game show. I would be eliminated in the first 5 minutes.
Well,
Me too, Al.
I was so amazingly happy that when Jonathan goes, recite as much of the theme, the opening narration of Tales from the Dark Side as you can. I was like, finally, I don't look like a moron.
But like even your question at the end about name the directors of Masters of Horror, I would have gone even more and just said name the directors of Masters of Horror season 2, because that would have really.
Oh yeah, that would have. And you know what? In season 2, there's a couple of directors I've never even heard of.
Yeah, but they're Masters of Horror, so. Yeah.
I guess.
Oh,
Was
Brad
Eli
Anderson.
Roth one of
Brad
them?
Anderson did Session 9, so that makes him a Master of Horror for all time. He doesn't have to do anything more.
Let me throw out that question. When you hear the name Masters of Horror, now I know Lauren's gonna like freak out when I say this name, but when Landis gets credit for American Wolf in London as being a Master of Horror, and even though he did Thriller and Innocent Blood, blah blah blah, do you think that you need to have a minimum 2 or 3 titles under your belt to be considered a Master of Horror, or do you think a Tobe Hooper could make Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or Jonathan Demme can make The Silence of the Lambs, and if that was their one and done, would they be considered a Master of Horror? Like, where do you have like they have to make a certain amount, or just one? If it's great, they're a master.
Multiple masterpieces in my book.
Multiple.
Yeah, at least a
Carpenter
couple.
one. Wes Craven one.
See, the thing is about Wes Craven, I know Laura and I go back and forth on him. The fact that Wes Craven did Last House in the 70s, Nightmare in the 80s, Scream in the 90s, because he was relevant in all 3 decades with a certain film, I think he does classify as that, just because he did keep his relevance.
I'd say it's just what you're synonymous with, right? So, I mean, Wes Craven, Carpenter, Romero, they're all synonymous with horror. Not necessarily they ever want to be considered masters of horror.
Yeah.
It's what their career ended up, the way they're.
Yeah, I would argue that Carpenter does not have at all the career he wishes he had.
No, and you can tell
he thinks he should have done something else.
You can tell that in interviews too. He's just kind of over it,
Yeah.
Well, here's a good question. I'm going to throw a tough question out there, similar to what Cam said. And I don't know, it's a ridiculous question, but I'm just curious because, Cam had a good question earlier, which was really tough and a hell of a hard question to answer. But for all you guys, if you just pick one, who would you say was the best horror director ever? Go. Best horror director.
That's kind of impossible.
Yeah, it kind of is possible. But that's the first thing that came to my mind.
I mean, I'm cheating. I'm going to go with Val Lewton, which is not the answer the question you actually asked.
Okay, because he wasn't a director.
No.
Jesus.
And yet, you look at the 40s and he just owns it for 10 years, period. Full stop. He owned a decade of horror.
So. Anybody else want to chip in?
I don't think you can, but if I had to throw a name, and I know a couple of you are going to be like, seriously, is Wes Craven is who I would throw out. But
okay,
I understand that one.
I don't.
I would throw out Wes Craven. There's always a window high enough.
Yeah,
I mean, I think he only did one non-horror film, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember the name of it. It's from the late 90s.
No, I would disagree with you. I don't think
of the Heart
Brooklyn is classified as a horror movie.
God, that was a Vampire in Brooklyn. That's dog shit. Ugh.
Yeah,
that's the listen. Wes Craven's that guy that he has such incredible heights for his great stuff. Okay, he just does. But the low points are just so low.
Yes.
It's just tough for me to be a cheerleader for anyone. And it's not that I dislike his work. It's that I think much like many of his peers, he had work that was great. He had work that wasn't great. It's rare you have your Cronenberg who doesn't really ever hit even the skids. I mean,
and then you have people.
Yeah, that was a tough question.
You have people like Carpenter and Dario Argento who have like a run of like 10 or 12 just smashed, whether they did well at the box office or not. They're just like boom, 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 boom. And then all of a sudden there's a turning point and then they just make, I don't know what they make for the rest of their career.
I mean, Vampire was just the lowest common denominator. You're not gonna, you can't deny that.
But it's interesting because like with Argento, it's like a lot of people say his greatness stopped after Trauma, and I will always maintain it stopped after Stendhal Syndrome. I think Stendhal Syndrome is the last great film he's made.
I agree with that. Although I do understand why some people exclude it. The CGI is pretty atrocious. It is a weird and awkward way to tell that story, But it's also endlessly interesting, and he'd never be endlessly interesting again.
Nico said in the chat he would go with Mario
Bava.
Yeah, that's a hell of a pick, Nico.
No,
I like that one.
It's a great pick.
It is a great pick, Nico. Thumbs up, man.
Considering how many American directors stole their visuals from Mario Bava.
That's a damn good pick. That's a damn good pick by Nico. Because you know what? Even though I asked the questions, I don't know what my answer would be. I mean, there's just so many I love. Like I just don't. It's like I'm asking a question that I don't even have the answer to. Because it's.
So Al, I have a quick question for you. I just want a yes or no. Okay?
Go ahead, Cam. Go ahead. Shoot.
I don't want you to think about it. I want to just give me a yes or no.
Okay. No, I can't think about it. I don't even have just yes or no. Okay.
Yes
okay.
No.
Okay.
Would you consider Alfred Hitchcock a horror director?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I would. I think.
I agree with Lauren because Lauren came up with this great phrase, which I love, called horror adjacent. And I think that even if you're working in a suspense level, you're still working in the horror genre in some aspect.
Yes.
Horror adjacent.
And I'll tell you why.
Subgenre.
Cam, I'll tell you why. Because Alfred Hitchcock's greatest. Alfred Hitchcock. What was it? Greatest Hours or Hour? I forgot. I'm a little drunk. What was it? The Alfred Hitchcock Hour. Was that the name of the show?
I think Alfred Hitchcock.
Yes. And Psycho. Definitely, he had some, directing and choreographing and telling, Yeah, I think he was running the show. I think, absolutely. Yeah, I would say. Yeah,
I think he was running the show.
Psycho's not full horror.
Yeah, Alfred. Whatever you say, I'm gonna go ask the director of photography for direction. Now Hitchcock is interesting though because I think he brought a horror aesthetic to almost everything he did. He shot his action films and his suspense pieces like horror films. He leaned on suspense in a way that it was more vicious than the suspense that we were getting from television, which is where most suspense was airing. I think, again, it depends. If people want to narrowly define horror, they can exclude him. It's a mistake. And I even think his dark comedy, like Rope, which is a pitch black comedy, it's part of the genre. I think he has more work in the genre than not. But he was also making spy films and psychological mysteries and all kinds of things.
But even within those, like you said, there is a horror aesthetic coming through. So it's it's always
horror,
a horror adjacent, which I agree with. I think that I think in some aspects you could make that argument that Alfred Hitchcock could be the greatest horror director of all time because he brought that aesthetic to whatever genre he was working in, whether it be Rope or Trouble with Harry or even Rear Window. So,
are you okay, Mr. Bombastic? There, Jonathan?
No, I'm all good. Man.
He disappeared for a moment.
Stressing out.
Oh, no, man, work all the time. 24/7, man. So.
Nothing wrong with that.
Hey, you guys were talking about Alfred Hitchcock. I'm guessing that's where this ended up since I came back. Did anyone watch the? I think it was late '80s, early '90s, probably the reboot of Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that show, and I feel like I don't even know if it has a proper release.
I don't know if I've seen it or not. I don't know. I have to check it out. I don't know if I've seen it or not.
I haven't watched it since 1995.
I've heard about it, but I don't remember.
I think it came out right. It was on NBC, I believe, and it came out right around the same time as that Bates Motel pilot that you guys were talking
Speaking
about.
Speaking of Alfred Hitchcock, I don't know. I seen for the first time ever yesterday the 1987 Bates Motel film. What did you guys think of it?
It's bad.
Yeah, I thought so too, but that guy was just I couldn't stop laughing. What was the guy who inherited the house? What's his name again? I forgot.
Court.
Yeah. It was good, but it was good and bad. There was elements I liked, but it was just so it's just I don't know. I wouldn't say it was completely bad because
it's pretty bad.
It wasn't even a TV movie.
It was kind of funny. I don't know. was like funny and scary and creepy.
Oh well, no. Actually, the humor in the beginning is pretty great. It's just the rest of the movie sucks. But I am very proud that I think that the name Bud Cord gets used more on my channel than anywhere else on the YouTube.
Who remembers the A&E show? Who remembers the A&E show with Freddie Highmore?
What? I thought you were going to say Bates Motel.
Yeah, the newer Bates Motel. I think it was like the late 2000s. Freddie
Highmore. Yeah, on A&E. I loved it. I
liked it. I didn't mind it.
I did too. With Vera Farmiga, yeah, I did too.
When did Patrick Bateman join the chat? Hello, Griffin?
Oh, hey. Keeping it real.
That's good. That's good. Can't get more real than this because, goddamn, no one would script it this way.
Speaking of Alfred Hitchcock, this just showed up in the mail.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, very nice. That's nice.
Nice.
Just so you know, the digital codes do redeem in 4K, but I'm not sure yet if it's the new version of Psycho that's streamable.
Ew. You know, I think from now on, some of you need subtitles.
Yeah, exactly.
We got to work on this technology.
Mr. Purdue, were you ewing my digital copy remark?
What's that? I don't know who's talking to who. Shit.
He asked if you were oohing it in his digital copy remark.
Oh man.
Muting yourself before you blow your nose.
To get my mask.
Can you catch COVID through the internet? I don't know yet.
I don't think
They're unsure.
Last time I checked, I don't think so, Cameron. Possibly.
COVID algorithm.
So if chlamydia won't come to the internet, then sure, COVID's fine.
If you can make one laugh like that,
no, it's just allergies. Just allergies. I have bad seasonal allergies.
Yeah, I've been having that lately, but not too bad.
Plus, when I'm drunk, my allergies always come out. You know.
When I'm drunk, my allergies always come out.
Yeah. Or I should say, it aggravates it.
Okay, that's fair. Maybe you're allergic to alcohol. Have you thought about this, sir?
That's too bad. I guess. I don't know.
Hey guys, I gotta jump because every time I'm on a stream with Mr. Boombastic, I get too smashed to even finish the stream. but I went to Dollar Tree and I picked up I picked up a shit ton of movies, but I picked up 3 I never heard of. I was wondering if y'all let y'all pick which one I watched
Toss
first.
Toss them up.
Oh,
yeah, it's okay.
Never heard of it.
That's okay.
It's a Scream Factory. There's $1.
I was gonna ask about that. I hit 2 Dollar Trees today, and they're already sold out of everything. But I heard the Scream Factory stuff showing.
Oh man, I picked 15 horror.
Not
movies.
a good indication, is it?
I got. Yeah.
Every time I go to my Dollar Tree, I can't find shit.
Broken.
I don't know what that is.
I hope this ain't a remake.
Stage Fright. I found the Blu-ray of that last round.
That's supposed to be a good one.
Stage Fright was good. I like Stage Fright.
Okay. Actually, I got. Like I said, I got shit up. But
is that another film Hitchcock directed? Stage Fright.
Yes, but not that. It's not a remake of that film.
Well, I know there's one in the 80s, I believe.
That's a Lamberto Bava film.
Oh, okay. Well, they all ripped off Hitchcock.
Yeah,
I think the only Dollar Tree Blu-ray I ever bought was Straight Talk with Dolly Parton.
That's a good.
That makes sense.
Actually, I love
that
Dolly
makes
Parton.
complete and utter sense.
Yeah, because that's an Echo Bridge title.
Dollywood ain't too far away for you, is it?
And when I saw the
I haven't seen any of those movies, Tim, but I would start with Stage Fright and work.
Yeah, I agree with Jess. Start with Stage Fright. Start with Stage Fright.
All right.
Hey, Tim, me and Corey are gonna be on later. Hop on if you're not spammered.
I'm not spammered. I've already I've banned myself from your podcast until I straighten myself out. Get a counselor. But yeah, guys, if my daughter wants to go play before it gets too dark.
Hey, to you, Tim. Have fun.
All right, Tim.
Take it easy, man.
Take it easy, man.
I'm glad the raucous one has left.
I know, right?
Way too
It's
noisy.
better than Bob. Good God, that guy's unstable.
So, have you all started
You are
watching?
Hey,
right now.
Jonathan's unstable too.
Live. You are live right now.
Yeah.
So have you all started watching horror, like marathon in it?
Oh, absolutely. Not marathoning it, but revisiting a lot of the typical, which, you guys, October. I haven't seen any Halloween yet. I'm going to wait till October, but I've been watching a lot of like free horror movies on YouTube from like the 80s that I haven't seen yet. And then once October hits, I'm going to start revisiting the Halloweens, some other stuff, Alone in the Dark.
This is why I admire Lauren, because like we all grow to our comfort foods, and Lauren seeks out new things.
Right.
Like that.
That's the thing. Lauren knows about horror movies that I've never even heard of. He's into like Indian horror and Georgianian horror and Russian horror.
Where's Georgiania? I want to go to Georgiania right now. Can I buy a ticket?
Lauren is the type of person that when you were growing up you would see, and he'd say like, dude, you have to check out this movie. I got this Japanese bootleg. I copied it from you from, here you go.
Lauren is knowledgeable like fucking hell. That's
why I came in second on my own talk show.
I got a
my own game
question.
show.
Well,
For everybody.
it was the pressure. Don't feel bad.
I got a
Go for it,
question.
Griffin.
How many of y'all handed out, like, back VHS DVDs, how many times do you lend someone your copy so they can watch it if you couldn't watch it with them?
I wouldn't. I'd make a copy for them and give them that, so I would never lose my copy.
I did for a while.
I lost a couple films.
I did for a
letting
while.
them out.
They never came back, so I don't do that anymore.
So you can't.
Yeah.
Same thing, Jonathan.
Same here, John.
Whenever
Never
someone
came back to
borrowed
me.
DVD, I just copied the DVD and said, "Here you go, take it."
Blu-rays too.
I was selective, and I had to set it. I was really adamant that they took care of whatever I lent them. So usually it worked out okay.
I've lent out, and I do continue to lend out to close friends things. I mean, if it was something I absolutely couldn't replace and I couldn't copy for some reason, I don't know what I would do. But I haven't really been put in that position. Most times, someone will come to me and say, "Hey, Ring Zero Birthday. You always talk about it. I can't find it at the moment, or I can find the Arrow disc set and it's expensive." I don't have a problem lending it. It's just if they don't get it back to me, then we're taking it out in blood. So.
Well, I was also one of those people where it's like they said,
Those
"I want to watch
videos
it." I said,
become
"Great, come on
reality.
over and watch it."
Yeah,
Yeah, but I don't always want people over. So.
Oh, that's true.
I do, but I get really annoying to watch movies with, so I get it when people don't want to watch them with me. Because I'm like, "Hey, fun fact," and like every 5 minutes throughout the movie, people are like, "Will you just shut up?" Like I'm trying to watch.
Do you guys just take your DVDs and just kind of pop them in the cases and throw them on your shelf, or do you put it in, close it, carefully put it on your shelf? How careful are you with your physical media?
I'm pretty careful, Cam, because I'm paying what 20, 17, 15, 30 for a DVD. Yeah, I'm very careful. I mean,
I get a little bump in the plastic, and I can see a little dent. If it's not on the paper, I will literally get another case and switch out everything.
No, I'm not like that, but like
I'm not that bad, but
I am. So
I got a little man cave, but like I'm just like my man cave is not like Jonathan or Piz or Lauren or Christian Hanna or even you, Cam. You got a nice little man cave there, but I try.
Are you kidding me? I look at Christian. I was watching Christian's videos the other day. I'm going, my God, look at that place. And Lauren and Piz. I mean, it's like. It's so amazing. And
Jonathan too. Jonathan's got a hell of a DVD collection.
But I laugh because one day they're gonna all
That's
have
a fake background behind Jonathan.
Like steak sauce with the
all of them are gonna have to get the floors and carpets done like I had to, and they're gonna have to move everything out, move everything back in too. So they're all gonna be in my boat one of these days.
No, actually, I was gonna say my room stops literally like where you can see. It's not that big at all. Like it's 3 shelves pretty much.
I got a question for Cam. How, did it really form with the laser disc? Because I would just be a nervous wreck trying to handle those things.
No, dude, Laserdiscs were resilient, and that's actually what. Yeah, do you remember seeing them in school? Like, I remember in school, that was the preferred medium.
I never really saw them when I was growing up. I had a rich person I wouldn't consider him a friend at all, but his dad had, all the big titles, Predator, Alien, and such. I'm like, what are those?
They were pretty resilient for a disc that large. Because I remember, like I said, at school, that's how we watched a lot of educational stuff. And I mean, those discs would just be destroyed, and they still played fine.
I think the thing is, if you didn't have the experience with the Laserdisc, it's weird because it felt so hefty, but so did both the price tag and the reality of like, I own this movie, this rare movie, where I'm seeing this movie in letterbox and I see the whole movie, not just what everyone else is watching on VHS.
It would probably send me in a panic attack. It's just like $100 for this? Oh god.
Well, no. Lasers were actually a really decent price in most cases.
Nice, Cam. 1996. 1996.
Are we gonna play that game
again?
Oh, here we go. Oh my god, what's Lord doing? He went away. Oh, we got a little frenzy going on here. We gotta. Oh, look at Cameron coming in with the big guns. Oh, here we go.
You don't get more punk rock than this. The Damned's final concert with the original lineup on Laserdisc.
Oh yeah.
My goodness. My goodness.
See those scars and whatever definition that was in.
That's right.
Wait, Jonathan's up to something.
So
most of my lasers are downstairs.
How often do you guys watch your Laserdisc? Do you still watch them at all?
Oh yeah. I mean, titles that I can't get on anything else, I absolutely. Or titles that I'll watch once in a blue moon. I'm not going to just buy a DVD or Blu-ray just if I watch it once every 10 years. I mean, the Laserdisc player works.
Yeah. Did they come with a lot?
The problem is Laserdisc players don't look good on a widescreen TV. That's all.
Better than you think. My laser does look.
I mean the box in the middle.
Yeah, but they're non-anamorphic.
Yeah. No. Well, there are anamorphic Laserdiscs, but there's not many of them.
I'll tell you what really worries me about my collection is disc rot. Like, I don't know what that's going to look like in 10 years.
I only have one disc that did rot. It was my Bad Dreams disc, and I bought it that way. But the rest of my collection has not aged at all.
Is that more just a manufacturing defect? Like, does it actually happen if you leave it out?
It's climate.
The disc run? Okay.
Well, not necessarily, because like all these, I was an HD DVD adopter early on, and about half of these are no longer playable.
I've never had an issue in this, and I've been collecting since the 80s. So, thankfully, but I also live in a steady climate too. So,
yeah,
it's the shifts that hold basically there's glue holding the two pieces of aluminum together, and like any glue, long enough, they'll separate.
Yeah.
So, what's everyone watching tonight for horror?
Anybody? I watched 2001 Maniacs earlier today. I hadn't actually seen that before. Thought it was pretty
Anybody
fun.
else? Yeah, it's a good movie. Anybody else?
I'm going to double feature Vertigo and Psycho.
Lauren? Cam?
I'm probably going to spend the rest of the day reading, not watching a movie, actually.
Reading? Cam, anything on your list?
No.
Jonathan?
I'm watching Tales from the Crypt right now, actually.
Tales from the Crypt. Which one, John? Which episode?
Oh, I'm on season 5 right now. I bought the box set.
My favorite, and I'm actually thinking about having Piz do a review. My favorite. Have you ever seen, Jonathan? My favorite Tales from the Crypt episode was with John Lovitz. It was called Top Billin', where he goes to audition for Hamlet, and they actually cut off his head and skin his face to use as Hamlet. Or a ratio. It was great. I don't know if you ever seen it. It was just fucking great. It had Sandra Bernhard in it from the Roseanne. So it was really great, gory, and just it was just they took over like the mental hospital and killed all the like doctors and stuff, and then they put an audition in the paper, and like it was really good. It was really good.
Are you sure that's what happened, or were you having allergies?
No. Yeah, Cam, it's free on YouTube. Check it out. Top Billing, Tales from the Crypt. I'm telling you, it's a great episode, man.
Totally check out the Unsolved Mysteries episode. That is the entire first act of Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. Like it's almost like shot for shot.
I'm not a fan of Jeepers Creepers. I mean,
I love Jeepers Creepers, even though that was like a piece of garbage and it sucks. But
wow,
I have one big question for the interiors. He has a vanity plate on this truck that he has, right?
Yeah.
Did he go to the DMV and request that and just stand in line and like
eating it?
Yeah, and just sniff the people in front of him with his weird little, second set of nostrils.
How do you take the driving test looking like that?
I assumed.
Cam.
I assumed he actually stalked a boxer and stole the license plates. Because
what's that, Joe Bob? Dexter.
That's what I'll probably be watching tonight.
Nice.
Some of the first season.
There's a detective.
Jess, anything?
Tonight, no, we've been catching up on some Walking Dead, but nothing.
Walking Dead.
Nothing
Yeah, that shows. I think season 12 is his final season. If I'm correct.
Yeah, it's coming to an end.
I'm disappointed because they said
I stopped watching 5 years ago.
I stopped watching after season 2. Ugh.
I saw the very first episode, and that was the last episode.
I read the comics. I mean,
do you not like Frank Darabont?
I wouldn't say I don't like Frank Darabont. I don't think he has a really strong horror aesthetic, to be honest with you. He's better doing
dramas.
The Shawshank thing any day of the week.
I still think it's his best film. So.
What?
I still think The Mist is his best film.
Oh,
yeah. I have issues with
The Mist, yes.
Well, the black and white version.
I like The Mist.
You took the word right out of my mouth. I was going to say the black and white version is very good.
Lauren, how much do you hate The Majestic?
He's never seen The Majestic, I'm
I've
sure.
never seen The Majestic. that surprises absolutely no one here.
But I got a question, Lauren. Have you considered interviewing? I just picked this one up pretty cheap. Have you considered interviewing Rick Reed? Yeah.
I haven't, but I will put it on the list.
Yeah, that'd be cool because he did 2 for Abyss. I just picked both of his books up. They're pretty cheap. These are really cheap.
Isn't it amazing how the Abyss line doesn't, until the very end of the line, doesn't fail you?
Yeah. It's pretty great. I've only read about 5 or 6 of them so far, but I've been tearing through them, man.
So I can't announce it yet, but I'm going to be announcing the entire October schedule for the channel on the last day of this, on the last show of this month. And if you like the literary figures, all I can say is your mind is going to be friggin' blown. I promise you.
Clive Barker coming up.
Not Clive. Not Clive.
It's J.K. Rowling.
Dean Koontz.
But some names that might be in the neighborhood.
R.L. Stein?
Who's getting run over by a train?
The creeper just pulled his truck up.
But it's October's gonna be really exciting for this channel. Very exciting.
So we have R.L. Stein, Dean Koontz. Who else is making that list?
Checking it twice.
I'm just nailing down the rest of the schedule before I announce any of it.
Oh, okay.
So, I've been watching a lot of the Universal movies. Lauren's got me on a kick. I've just been picking them up on DVD for dirt cheap, and I've been flying through them.
I gotta watch all those.
I know Lauren's favorite James Whale line and character. It's he's got to sleep.
We're about to take off.
He's asleep.
Who's doing the flight simulator over there?
Oh,
I'm a little baffled about the sound on this video anyway.
It sounds okay.
Is there a vacuum?
No, I think somebody's mowing their lawn out near Al.
That's a lawnmower?
Sounds like one of those electric toy trucks
Probably
or something.
electric.
Oh my god.
The Tonko toy trucks from the 90s.
I think I'm buying the DVD. So
Jacob has a question. Jacob has a question that's better suited for all you than for me, because I don't actually. I was never that big of a Tales from the Crypt fan. But he wants to know everyone's favorite Tales from the Crypt episodes. His was People Who Live in Brass Hearses, starring Bill Paxton and Brad Dourif.
I actually watched that one.
Top billing, Jacob, with John Lovitz. Look it up. Top billing Tales from the Crypt.
I don't watch that much. I didn't watch it that much.
It's so good. Like, the good episodes of Tales from the Crypt are really good. The bad episodes are really bad, though.
Yes.
People Who Live in Brass Hearses.
I agree.
That was the last one I watched before I went to bed last night, and I actually forgot about it. And Bill Paxton and Brad Dourif are both very good in that.
When I was a kid, I got Tales from the Crypt and Tales from the Dark Side so completely interchangeable. I didn't know which one was which because we didn't have HBO when I was growing up. So, and to this day, it's like, well, what is what we know? Is Tales from the Dark Side really just creep show? Like, I don't know. Like, what was the? I know Tales from the Crypt is like EC horror and all that kind of stuff, but what was Tales from the Dark Side? Was that another EC horror thing?
Maybe more supernatural, maybe?
It was what happens when Lorimar couldn't pry the Creepshow name back from all of the partners, so they just put Tales from the Dark Side on television.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Which is
I
why
like the Tales from the Crypt, but I don't have a specific episode that sticks out. The movies do. I really enjoyed both movies, especially.
Demon Knight. Yeah, Demon Knight was my favorite. That's the only
one I've seen.
I love Demon Knight.
I'm baffled by those movies, though, because they have nothing to do with the original EC comics.
Right? Like, out of everything that they did...
Why wouldn't they make those into anthologies?
Exactly. What was Demon Knight? 93?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Tales from the Dark Side, the movie was
it that
4 years before. I don't know if they just didn't want
to
get lumped in.
88?
89?
Demon Knight was 95. 95.
That movie.
Still, but the Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, was not a huge success either.
No.
It did okay.
It is in my heart.
I agree. I think it's a great film, but I don't know. It's a little bit weird to think that anyone made decisions based on that film's theatrical release.
I mean, Yellow Blood was only made because of From Dusk Till Dawn, even though it was script from like the 70s.
Well, also, I mean, you take an anthology TV show and you make an anthology movie. I mean, HBO was already as uncut as you could probably want to get. So, I mean, do you want people to feel like they're watching one large Tales from the Crypt episode? Or 3 Tales from the Crypt episodes backed up together?
Let's just be honest here. The audience going to see that movie is the audience watching it on cable. So
that's true.
They probably want to see that than the Twilight Zone movie.
I like the Twilight Zone movie.
I have never seen.
They never made a Twilight Zone movie. What are you talking about?
It's not that bad, Lauren.
You don't think the George Miller sequence?
I think George Miller's great. I think Joe Dante's episodes are great. That's about it. I think the wraparound. I always thought the wraparound was lame.
I mean, the whole John Landis thing turns me off and watching
that doesn't exist.
Yeah,
doesn't exist.
It's just.
And I'm sorry, Spielberg's episode, friggin' kill me.
No, that Spielberg episode
so disappointing.
More amazing stories.
Yeah, no, please.
Yeah, I think Amazing Stories is an NBC show.
Has anybody watched the reboot of Amazing Stories?
No.
I've heard about it
on Apple Plus. I haven't seen it yet.
Does anybody have Apple Plus here?
I was about to say I'm not buying Apple.
Does Apple?
Plus.
Is that a real service?
Yeah.
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 I mean, they put Apple Plus like crazy on TV.
Well, you know what I just bought Blood Drive, the sci-fi series. What was that? Yeah, right. It only got made as an Australian Blu-ray set, but you can buy it cheap because there's not that many episodes. I love that series, but that series went out on like regular cable, completely uncut. Because there's shit in those episodes that you're like, I'm not sure they could get an R for this, but they're putting it on screen. It's pretty amazing. I love that series.
They probably took a lot of balls doing that kind of shit back in the day.
Now, Lauren, I remember you saying something about Masters of Horror, but you said that you actually prefer Fear itself, even though it was more strict. What was... I own it. I haven't watched it. Why do you think it works better with NBC standards and practices than Showtime letting them do what they want to do? Like, what worked for you?
Well, I think part of it is that when you look at these creators, they all were that were cherished as masters of horror, because you're basically talking about people from the 70s and 80s and a few from after that, but mostly in that period. They all were working within limitations, and they were best at working within limitations. So, in other words, if you know, John Carpenter could have made exactly what he wanted, well, we might not have gotten the films we got. Fear itself is weird because it's not completely satisfying. I'm not claiming that, but I was always hugely disappointed by the Masters of Horror. Always. Like every time I'd sit down and go, oh, it was okay, but it was formulaic. They had to get their nudity in. They had to get their big gore scene in. And it just always felt like they could have done, they had the means to do whatever they wanted, so they weren't inspired to do anything.
I was shocked with Masters of Horror because the DVDs are stocked with commentaries, behind the scenes, director profiles. Blu-rays, no extras whatsoever.
Right?
It's kind of weird.
And they only released the first season on Blu-ray. They didn't even bother to do the second season.
Well, no, they did the second season on... Oh, yeah, you could get the whole, like, skull thing, but that was a DVD set, correct?
Yeah, there was the skull, and then there was, like, a little mausoleum.
Right.
So,
yeah. I'm shocked that they didn't put any of the extras on that.
Lauren, do you have like an episode of Masters of Horror that you do enjoy?
I think Cigarette Burns is probably as good as it gets. Incident on and Off a Mountain is almost there, but I really like the Joe R. Lansdale short story it's based on, so that might be more of me just loving to see Lansdale adapted by Coscarelli than what's really on screen. Cigarette Burns is Carpenter's best direction in easily a decade and a half before that. So
I just want to say something about Incident on and Off Mountain Road. I love it, but I also love the fact that Coscarelli chose to make that for Masters of Horror instead of giving us a bunch of filler and trying to give us a 90-minute version of that movie. It has to work as an hour film or a 45-minute movie. As a 90-minute movie, it would have been horrible, I think.
And Jacob is disagreeing with me vehemently in the chat, which is fine. It's fine.
I agree with Jacob. I do think
that's fine.
I think Masters of War it's fine. I mean, it's like I said about Tales from the Crypt. The good ones are very good, and the bad ones are very bad.
What about Lucky McKee? I mean, do we like?
That's a true statement.
Sick Girl is pretty interesting. May, of course, is interesting, but Masters of Horror Sick Girl I thought was really weird. He takes a lot of chances. As a filmmaker, I don't think he gets really that much respect, and maybe I don't know. He seems to have forgotten director, but you know, with the exception of The Woods, I don't think he's really had like a bad flop. Right?
Lift from the knees. Lift from the knees. I don't think Lucky McGee and many directors of his ilk, actually, from that time period, are just never going to be put in the pantheon because filmmaking was in a place whereas nothing iconic was coming out. Even the good stuff wasn't really iconic. May is a great film, but May is not going to go down as one of the great horror films, no matter how great it is, because people's consumption of horror movies throughout that whole period was just so passive. No, you don't meet when you talk to people about their favorite horror films. Eventually, they might get to May, but you're not having that conversation in the first 10 minutes you talk to anyone. It's just how people consume in different time periods is different. How we consume films in that rarefied era of the late 70s throughout the 80s, that's always going to be very powerful. But by the point where, you know, May comes out, and we're talking early 2000s, if there's a Cube coming out and May, there was definitely a movement, but it doesn't feel like there was a movement. Because we went to the video store, we rented them, said, oh, that's cool, and that's it. Went on with our lives. It didn't culturally impact us.
I think. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I remember Ginger Snaps stopping me in my tracks. Like, wow.
I like Ginger Snaps.
Like, I remember.
I haven't heard that. I gotta revisit that movie. Wow.
It's
and again,
it's been a while.
People are hitting
the second one.
First film of them posing for those pictures. Yeah. I was just like, this is something special.
Ginger Snaps, they're all covered in blood.
I really love Ginger Snaps too. That movie.
Yeah, Ginger Snaps was.
That movie made me sick to my stomach at times.
I gotta revisit that.
But I love it. Boy.
Ginger Snaps is actually my favorite.
Oh, Lauren's got something good there.
I'm not saying.
Nice.
That's gonna be a controversial cover.
What is that?
You think so? This is the novel that Jack Ketchum wrote with Lucky McGee called "I'm Not Sam."
Never heard of it.
I think the intention was that they were going to make a film of it, but after The Woman and the off-season debacle, they never really got the chance, and then obviously Dallas left us. Not gonna happen now, probably.
Looks like the Virgin Killer album from Scorpions, the controversial one, in a way.
I guess I'm not in love with the cover, but it was a good read. It's a fast read. It's like 30,000 words, so you burn through it. But
Mr. Purdue, did you see they're going to release an entire "I Spit on Your Grave" box set with all that? The original, the remakes, the sequels, and
the original was so brutal, man. You know
that
what?
is a fucked up movie.
Oh man, when the guy's in the tub,
my mom showed that
she's.
My mom showed me that as a kid.
What? I felt that.
Here, Joey, I got a movie for us to watch. Later, we'll have some Jesus juice and go to bed.
Wait, what's the statute of limitations for calling the child abuse hotline?
Man.
I feel like I missed something wild.
Mr. Purdue here said that his mom spit on your grave.
She what?
My mom turned out fine.
That movie was man.
That's a fucked up movie.
Chat,
yeah.
The chat has to be speechless right now.
Is there a sizable like pet graveyard from when you were a kid in your backyard?
Pet cemetery.
So my backyard was small when I was a kid.
Lauren, what's your what are your 3 favorite Jack Ketchum books?
Oh, geez. Girl Next Door, obviously.
I wanted to throw that book down so many times.
That's the point, though.
Yeah,
it gets such a strong reaction.
It almost got me, but I stuck with it.
It's almost an experiment in seeing how much you'll deal with as a reader. And then when you find out, let's like it's based on a real incident, you're like,
yeah. When I found out, I'm like, jeez.
I mean, Off Season as well. I revisited Off Season when Dorsher put it back out, and I didn't enjoy it as much as the first time when I read it in what was that, 88, 89, whenever it came out. I have to get back to you on a third title, to be honest with you, because they all kind of blend together at a certain point. Dallas was a great guy, and he was a mentor to a lot of people in the horror writing community. There's not a day goes by that the horror genre is not a little bit weaker because he's not in it, and I mean that. I really mean that.
Yeah, his writing style, like it just absorbs you in. Like I was hooked. Like I couldn't put it down. Even I wanted to, but I just blazed through A Girl Next Door and Offspring.
Offspring was the second book, which I didn't enjoy nearly as much. And then The Woman was the novella that followed it that tied into the sequel movie thing that kind of was kind of because Offspring and Off Season became one movie somehow.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that happened.
Girl Next Door adaptation, is that a decent movie or is it not a good movie?
I won't go near it because if I don't want it to either water down the experience of reading the book or I don't want to see what was in the book on screen. One of the two.
Is one Girl Next Door? I remember that comedy. Ugh. I can't remember who was in the only Girl Next Door.
Oh, the girl
who's operating a chainsaw.
We were assuming that was you, Al.
I might be.
Okay, one by one, everyone mute their mics. Let's see who it is.
It's Lauren.
Oh, it's you, Lauren.
There's nothing here for it to be me. Al, turn your mic on.
It's you, Lauren.
Mic's on.
I just heard it go down. Why did you click on?
I think it must have been my DVD boner.
What?
Oh,
what?
Yeah, it was Joe Bob.
I thought Lauren's house was haunted for a second.
I wish that was the case. You'll probably embrace that shit.
There's no ghosties, friends.
Spooks, spirits, ghosts, kids stuff.
All that shit.
There's no such thing. Yeah. Woo. Three Stooges episode. Yeah.
Speaking of
hey, wake up and go to sleep. Leave me alone.
Speaking of paranormal, has Satan showed back up anymore, Lauren, or is that just that one time appearance?
No, he was here in the beginning pretending.
He was there today.
Yeah, I mean he
came back.
The show came on.
Well, he was pretending to be me.
Yeah, he had Al, the Zodiac Killer. Exactly.
Are you serious?
So he waits to see what people show up as, and then mimics them. So it's kind of a body snatcher thing.
Well, it's not me. I've been on your show when he came on plenty of times.
No, that's how I knew it was him.
Plus, I wouldn't. I'm not. I wouldn't do. That. I don't know who that. I wouldn't do that.
Unless I'm wrong, and Satan was a different person than the regular troll. I don't know, but
that troll.
We gotta figure out who it is and chop him up into little.
I'm not really that worried about it.
So, Lauren, do you think Criterion is gonna do a box set for the Val Lewton?
That would be a dream come true, but I don't.
I got a saw on the wall waiting for him.
Their Cat People disc is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Speaking of which.
Yeah, exactly.
And then.
What movie is that?
Is that Body Snatcher?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. The only thing I have the DVD box set, and then I have the Cat People standalone Blu-ray from Criterion.
Yeah.
The only thing I can do without is Curse the Cat People.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because it is such a bait and switch, it's not funny. And it's fine for what it is, but I get angry every time.
So there's I Walk with a Zombie. Is Bedlam one of them?
Bedlam is one of them. Okay. Leopard Man.
Yeah. I really like Leopard Man. That was really good.
Yeah. Leopard Man is underrated. It really is.
Come on, Jess.
And Isle of the Dead is
I'll do one more.
Amazing.
Jess is drunk.
It was pretty great.
Can't drink all afternoon every week.
Wow. Do I start these too early for you two gentlemen?
No, Laura, you're fine.
I'm not complaining.
90s horror matinees.
So, Lauren, did you like any of the Dracula follow-ups, or
Dracula's Daughter? I like.
Horror fans drink.
That's your favorite
of the follow-ups. Yeah, Son of Dracula loses me about halfway.
Yeah,
because it becomes just kind of melodrama and dumb.
Oh yeah.
To all the viewers, to Lauren,
I think
all the panelists.
They were really loving that kind of southern gothic feel with the Universal, with like the mummies.
Yeah, well, I mean, Hand of the Mummy it was a turning point, and you could see they figured out like that using that southern gothic aesthetic was a cheap way to get out of the castles.
Yeah.
But I mean, actually the Mummy series, the original Mummy series, might be the most consistent of any of them for me because I prefer the first film, but I think that like they're all after that they're all kind of on the same level. I don't think there's any real dog, whereas like unfortunately, the other series have installments that are pretty rough.
Okay, if we're going to talk about the Mummy, I'm going to bring up a movie which I personally like. I would imagine you guys would like it. I actually thought it was pretty good. What do you guys think about? I like this movie. I thought it was really creepy. I like the kills. It had a little bit too much Hollywood to it, but it kind of evened out. But I thought it was really good. I thought it was like a really creepy movie and interesting.
What was this movie?
What do you guys think about House of Wax.
Which House of Wax? House of Wax.
House of Wax.
House of Max.
House of Wax. Yes, correct.
The original or the remake?
The Paris Hilton remake.
Fuck that.
Is a much better film. It's a much better film.
Fuck Paris
than-
Hilton.
I would have to rewatch it.
I agree, Jonathan. Lauren, what do you think?
It's better than it has any right to be. Listen, it's nowhere near a classic or anything like that, but it's way better than it deserves.
No, absolutely not.
But here's the thing, guys, if you haven't seen Murders in the Wax Museum, which really starts this whole wave, that's the best film of the bunch.
I gotta check that out. What is it called, Lord? Murders of the Wax Museum?
Murders in the Wax Museum.
Wax Museum. I gotta look. I'll look it up. I'll check it out.
That's a cool name, by the way.
Yeah, in all honesty, I wasn't a fan of either one of those.
Really, Jesse? You didn't like it? What?
So, Lauren, are you more of a fan of the Universal The Mummy or the Hammer, the original?
Universal.
Okay.
I'll tell you, here's my thing with Hammer. I really like a lot of the aesthetic of Hammer, but it gets tough with the individual films for me. Often I find myself really kind of not as engaged as I want to be with a lot of their titles.
Yeah.
I love the mood. I love the atmosphere. Don't necessarily love the writing. That's why the Karnstein trilogy is so important to me, because I'm on board for them doing sleazy, because it gets all the plot problems out of the way. You don't care, you know.
Just stay away from that Kung Fu Mummy.
The Kung Fu Mummy.
The one with Tom Cruise.
Joe Bob, how could you?
I don't hate that movie. I prefer the Tom Cruise Mummy.
I'm shocked, Lauren.
Over the Brendan Fraser movies. Those Brendan Fraser movies are kids' movies. They're ridiculous.
Oh well, yeah, the Brady.
I saw them when I was a kid.
Yeah,
good point, Lauren. Yeah,
I love the Brendan Fraser one.
The problem, the Tom Cruise film, the problem is it was a bad idea.
With Joe Bob, at least the first one.
Yeah, and that one film destroyed that uprising of those monster movies.
Well, thank God. Maybe I love it for that.
It's a piece of shit.
No, it's not a piece of shit. It's a bad idea, but it's a well done bad idea. I don't get. I mean, people decided they didn't like that movie before it even came out. I would like them to make an actual horror movie from The Mummy at some point again. That would be nice.
Oh yeah.
But if you're going to compare, I'm sorry, if I'm going to compare those Brendan Fraser high fantasy Indiana Jones kids films, I'll take the Tom Cruise piece of crap any day of the week.
Oh God.
I will. Easily.
And
there's stuff in it I think is very good.
I don't think it's a classic, but it's a fun movie.
What?
All in all, I think we agree if you want to watch The Mummy, go back to Universal or Hammer movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Or even The Awakening, which is boring, but at least it's there.
Guys, I got a good question. And this is actually a very, very interesting question. Yes, we're in Halloween mode, horror mode, but do you guys like Christmas horror better or Halloween type of year horror better? In other words, once December 1st hits, do you like the whole month of December horror movie type, or do you like the Halloween or
Halloween? I mean, the only Christmas horror movie I like is Krampus.
Halloween. What's Christmas?
No, I'm talking Black Christmas.
Maybe Krampus,
New Year's
Silent Night, Deadly Night. But...
Love Silent Night, Deadly Night.
I love Christmas horror. I love Christmas. I just love Christmas horror, man. I just, when it's snowing, you're home. Lauren, are you going to have these during Christmas, the horror community shows?
Are you going to behave?
Yeah, dude, we're all going to be out in the snow drunk.
Listen, I don't want. So there's things in my life that this fall are going to change. So my schedule is going to change. There will be these shows at some point. Will they happen as every Saturday night? Probably not. Okay. We'll find out. But I'm also relying on you guys really I have said this a million times. I want everyone to start their own channel. Everyone to go off. And
I don't know where to
thing.
start, Lauren. I can't, man.
Do you think I knew where to start, dude?
Just start talking about the Scream movies.
Yeah, man. You got the man cave. You're smart. You know about the stuff. You got the personality.
I love that the first qualification is that I put posters on the wall.
But you got that horror leadership type of thing going on.
Speaking of Christmas horror, would you guys consider Cronenberg's The Dead Zone partially a Christmas movie?
Not me. No, I wouldn't. That's just me personally.
The Cronenberg Dead Zone?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. No.
I don't think I've seen its entirety.
I think
that's a good that's a good question.
Die Hard argument now.
I think that the
I don't want to go there.
That's an argument you can't. That's an argument you can't win.
I don't know.
It's a good question, Griff.
It's not.
It's a good question. It's a
like
really good question.
The question is weird to me. Like,
it's a good question.
I love Halloween, the season I'm talking about, the holiday.
Me too.
And I feel like there's so few films that have captured it for me. You know, Trick or Treat does, Hellfest does. Halloween 3 comes close, a lot closer than any of the slasher films in that series do. But there's not a lot of films that really capture it, surprisingly. When we talk about Christmas horror, my thing is like the original Silent Night Deadly Night worked because it was like kind of attacking the holiday, straight on.
Yep.
Oh, so brutal, so brutal. He rips her shirt off. He's raping and killing her. Oh man, brutal.
It just becomes a crutch, though. It's like, look, it's Santa Claus with a knife or an axe or a machete or a chainsaw. That doesn't do anything for me automatically. It doesn't. You have to. You have to create a movie there somewhere.
I mean, that whole controversy was just so weird.
So,
I mean, in the time period, it made a lot of sense. It wasn't right, but it made a lot of sense in that time period.
I'll tell you a good, what I feel like is a really good Christmas horror movie. Tell me if you guys have seen it. Better Watch Out from 2016.
I've thought about that.
Yes, Jonathan. That's
really
that's a good. Yes.
I've heard great things. It's $13.99, brand new on Blu-ray right now, and some people have found it at the dollar store. So.
Yeah, I saw it last Christmas. It was fantastic.
I remember watching Krampus a couple years ago. I thought that was kind of cool.
I like Krampus, but Michael Dougherty can do no wrong, basically.
I'm not a Krampus fan.
He's
I just
3 for 3.
It's got some.
For me, it is.
I like it. It's got some good comedic elements.
Black Christmas, I could watch 20 times in a row. I love Black Christmas.
I want to say that.
Olivia Hussey was so hot back then, man. Oh my god.
Oh, I thought you were talking
I've
about
seen some still images of some dads. I'm like, that's.
I can't do it. I think about it all the time. Like, I should really just bite the bullet because if I'm going to talk about this movie, I should force myself to actually watch it. But I can't bring myself to do it. And I like the first remake of Black Christmas as its own separate thing.
Oh, God.
But explain to me, Lauren, why Blumhouse puts out an unrated cut of Fantasy Island, but not the R-rated version of Black Christmas that they shot it as to be.
The remake.
The remake was with the girls. The sorority was absolutely should have never ever been made. It's a disgrace.
That was from last year, right?
Yeah, it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. It's an abomination.
How do you really feel?
I'm just glad that the 06 Black Christmas is no longer the bad Black Christmas movie.
I think that movie has a lot of fun.
It is.
And it's shot like no one's business. Like, they clearly went to the entire art department and said, we need as much room to move the camera as humanly possible. Because we're going to do acrobatics that's never been seen on film, even in the most spastic music video. And I think it's just it's a fun movie that people really don't like because, obviously, it claimed to be a remake of a great movie.
Give it another 10 years, it'll be like some underrated gem.
The big problem with the 2006 film is the trailer is filled with scenes they shot for the trailer, not the movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's almost impossible to get on like Blu-ray now, which is sad.
I have it. On
I just
DVD.
love Black Christmas so much. I just love it so much. When it's cold outside and it's 5 inches of snow, you get a bottle of whiskey, you sit there by yourself in the dark.
You start making phone calls to sororities. I know. I've been there. Who hasn't been there?
It's just. I didn't call any sororities though. I don't know their numbers, but really? It's just the perfect man. It's such a good movie. Like, and you know what? Olivia Hussey is such a bitch in that movie because she wants to have the kid and no, she doesn't want to have the kid, and the guy does. Like, it's like
that's a different movie.
Yeah. That could be like a separate. Which is so good,
earlier. We're talking about Hitchcock earlier. I mean, I know Porky's Christmas Story, Baby Geniuses, whatever. But I mean, if you look at Bob Clark, Children Shouldn't Play Dead Things, Black Christmas, Murder by Decree, the guy has legit like horror credentials, and yet Bob Clark is not remembered as a horror master. And I wonder why that is.
Baby Geniuses.
Comedy.
Because
well,
Christmas Story just kind of.
I was watching Porky's the other day, and I remember I forgot that George from Webster was in that movie as Porky's brother, if I'm not mistaken.
As you will.
Alex, what's his last name?
Alex something. It started with an H.
Karras.
Oh, Alex Karras.
I was like, George? I was like, Jesus, I forgot he was in there.
But like Lauren wanted the next day for Friday the 13th. I mean, Bob Clark did that with Porky's 2 the next day. So.
Oh, I hated that movie, but I love Porky's Revenge. I don't know why.
Sometimes I want to see how many fireworks can fit in my mouth when I light it up. The hell is wrong with you, sir?
And yet, 2 decades later, Universal got their wish. Their dream was to make a successor to Porky's. They thought Mallrats was going to be it, but it ended up being American Pie. So.
Yeah.
They really had that kind of faith in Mallrats.
I like both of those.
That's what they said. They told him that you were making the Porky's new generation. And he said, no, it's going to be whatever it ends up being.
That Arrow release for Mallrats, I think, comes out this week.
No.
American Pie is actually not bad. It's aged.
Dick and fart humor, but
it's aged well.
Let's get this horror. Let's keep it horror.
Yeah.
American Pie is horror, so
I've never seen it.
Well, I get what you're saying, Ken. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
American Pie's more fucked up than Porky's.
Joseph, what do you think about License to Drive? Tell us how you really feel.
Last 30 minutes is awesome. The rest of the movie is nah. I mean, it is what I can understand why everyone hates it. It's really not my cup of tea, but the last 30 minutes is so much fun.
Lauren hates everything.
Wait, whoa. License to Drive is not your cup of tea. If someone pissed in your if a hobo pissed in your tea, it might be closer to what it is. Jesus.
Oh God. Well, y'all know what I'm saying.
Okay,
you guys fight like brothers.
An hour or so is nah, but the last 30 minutes that they go to the hospital, it's so damn funny. I was dying laughing.
Legitimate question.
Well, clearly you didn't die.
What do you guys think about Scream Factory finally diving into the 4K format?
Cool.
It's kind of mixed.
Cool, I guess.
They didn't do.
No comment.
It's too late.
No comment.
Yeah.
It's just too late.
And that format came out a couple years ago.
So the problem is 4K is not taking off. The retailers don't know what to do with it. It's fading as a format already, but the worst thing is Blu-ray doesn't make anyone any money. So if I were them, I would be just focusing on getting titles that are dream titles and just putting out the best editions, maybe dropping pricing on older titles, suggested retail, rather than trying to still get premium pricing for them. There's a lot of things I would do before I went 4K with what are titles that they were just offering us, in some cases 6 months earlier at a premium price.
DVDs
I'm not a
ain't
fan.
going nowhere as long as TV shows.
Not a fan either, Lord.
And media, DVD ain't going nowhere.
Oh, I'm a gigantic fan of the 4K format. It's just unfortunate it's never going to have proper backup.
My feeling is like it's just like when you just crank out the fog again for like the third release. First we get a release, then we get a Steelbook, then we get 4K, and I don't know. It's just like
I hope the guy you're talking about the original.
Yeah.
No, I'm only talking about the remake.
So what do we got? We got Vinegar Syndrome. We got Scream Factory. What else is there? Severin. What else?
Arrow.
It's just. I mean, I'm with Lauren. Lauren, I agree with you, man. I have all these movies, guys. I don't need a box set to pay $160 for.
Exactly.
I have all these movies on my phone in Blu-ray, 1080i. Like,
so you're not a physical media guy, Al.
That's the screen, so it's big enough.
Yeah.
I got a Galaxy Note. I'm not spending $100.
I'm not cheering the death of physical media. Far from it.
No.
I got VHSs from the 80s.
But what I want to see happen is for the focus to go back where it needs to go, which is two things. A, on the movies. Let's get the movies looking awesome. Why, those of us who remember the Laserdisc days, why did we buy Laserdisc? Not because it was a bigger disc, not because it had bigger art. Those things are cool. It's not why we did it. We did it because it was a lot more stable of an image, even back then. And it wasn't going to degrade on us. All the other stuff, cool, great bonus. But in a lot of cases, when AC3 came to Laserdisc, it gave us the best possible sound. Non-compressed sound. Smooth diagonal motion. You weren't getting that off VHS. So we need to go back to that. And the second thing is we got to go back to price consciousness.
Yeah.
We got to stop it. By those of us who are still trying to buy physical media,
Jamie
are just being abused if we're going to
pay
$5 for a single release.
No, and that's where I think Vestron is getting it right with these last two.
Yeah, I agree, Lauren.
It's just Cam, did you order the Friday 13th box set?
Some of these
I absolutely did.
Media releases.
How much? You did? Okay, Jonathan, did you order the Friday 13th box set?
Reluctantly, yeah. I mean, I made an entire video about how I was not going to do it, and then.
But you did. Well, okay. So that's Cam and John.
I sold all of my previous releases to offset the entire cost.
Okay.
And then you did it.
Man,
good idea.
$132, which is what it went on Amazon for.
Jamie found great deals at Walmart. Jamie, tell them about the deals you found at Walmart, which was great deals.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get the box set probably because it depends. I'm trying to fix my house up, so I need all the money I can to fix my house up.
Right, sure.
But I found this yesterday at Walmart. It's the
nice. Yes.
It was only $20, so
I'm just fine with that.
That's awesome.
It doesn't have like Freddy versus Jason. It doesn't have Jason X. That's okay though. I can get those separately. At least I have this. Plus, I have my collector's edition of the original movie. So,
Nice, Jamie.
That's
a good pickup. That's a good pickup.
It's for $20. It's an excellent pickup.
Cam. No, those are the DVDs, and they were.
Yeah.
Those are the individual discs that came out in 2003 or 4.
Yeah, I still watch VHSs. I still have my heart. I like VHS more than Blu-ray.
As long as it's not the two-sided disc.
If I want to see special features, I'll go on YouTube. I'm not.
I think people should find their comfort spot. That's the thing. I don't think that everyone's gonna have one answer, and that's kind of the scary thing. Is that as we're being asked to double and triple dip, it becomes this almost a sports betting game for a lot of people. And it's like, to me, just give me the movies looking as good as they can at a price that's fair. I don't even need the lowest bottom price, just fair.
Yeah.
And when
that's the box that I have as DVDs, the deluxe set.
But if they're going to release like Valentine as a special edition for $30, there's something wrong with that picture.
Yeah.
$30 for one movie? That's a lot of money.
Well, especially Valentine.
Look, Laserdisc collectors out there.
I think it's $4 for this. And it's a complete series.
Well, I agree, Cam. I absolutely agree with what you're saying, but we're not living in that world anymore.
No, I know. But the thing is that we are living in a world where, to be honest, the worst horror movie ever made, because Scream Factory throws their label on it, it becomes the best movie ever made in the comments.
Oh god!
And if you even say anything about it, like, "Oh, I'm not really into that," they go, "Well, this movie's not being put out for you." So it's like, okay, great.
It's kind of like the whole, if you don't like this movie, then you'll label whatever. Kind of like the whole Ghostbusters thing. It's ridiculous.
I can't
That
believe
might,
it.
Griffin, that might be the best example ever.
Please say it again. I couldn't hear you.
The Haunting remake.
People were super excited for that coming to Blu-ray. I'm like,
and Ghost Ship. People are ecstatic for Ghost Ship.
I couldn't believe it.
5 years ago, everybody, I mean, the consensus was that Ghost Ship was terrible. And it is terrible.
I love Ghost Ship. I love it.
We love unpopular opinions, so you belong here.
Yeah.
But, besides the opening scene, which everyone loves, I don't know if you're gonna have a lot of company.
Scream Factory puts it out, and all of a sudden, Ghost Ship was a lost classic.
But let's be honest, Ghost Ship is a lost classic compared to Haunting '99.
Yep.
Is that the one with Owen Wilson?
Yep.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, that was just such a bad movie.
But I mean, they've been rating they put out the House on Hill. I think they're going to probably eventually. They put on 13 Ghosts. I'm sure they're going to get to House of Wax eventually. But it's like whatever they put on, it's amazing. Like they just get these like second, third tier movies that no one thought about when they came out, and now they're all lost classics now. And it just shows you, if you give something 10, 15 years, everything becomes a classic.
But don't you think this plays into my argument that because the films coming out today in America are so lackluster, people are looking at these older films that were no better necessarily, but they're familiar with, and they'd rather go to the nostalgia for the value?
I'll say the nostalgia.
Yep.
Because they cling to these movies the way we like our movies growing up. It's just what they saw when they were young.
Exactly.
And that's so sad that we'd even be tempted to think that way. We should be just getting new films that are so exciting that we're just like, how many days is it until this comes out on Blue? This new movie? We should be more, I don't know, we should be excited about what's current, at least as much as we've been watching consistently for 25 years.
But also, as a community, we have to be open to that too. Because how many times do we see something get announced and it just gets shit all over before anybody has a chance to see it? Like, I feel like that's one thing the horror community is really bad about, is we're not very receptive to anything new.
But then look at like what Vestron did, right? They had all these expensive titles, Maximum Overdrive for like $35. They just put out Shivers with a brand new Cronenberg commentary for $10.
I actually got the Maximum Overdrive Blu-ray for $20.
But I think Lauren, you're up on that, right? Like the fact that here's an old title, maybe you're not so keen on the extras, but that price point, $10 is pretty sweet for a special edition.
That would save the physical media, I believe.
Yes.
I mean, the deal.
There's two things. If we want to save physical media, there's two things we have to do. A, we got to get the pricing in line with what people can spend on their disposable income in good faith. Yes. I'm not talking about the hardcore collectors, because we're not enough to keep anything alive. We need casual people. Second thing is, in a very real sense, we got to make sure that these titles, as they come out, are being evaluated fairly and honestly. Because the problem is, we all come out and say, Valentine finally is getting recognized, it's great. And then the normies go out and buy it for $30, pop it in and go, what the hell are all these people talking about? I'll never buy another movie at $30 again. So we have to be very honest. Like, it's okay to say this movie's okay. I really like Jamie says, I like Ghost Ship. That's cool. That's cool. But what we don't need is a million people, because it's coming out on a special edition, saying, I have great memories of this movie. Well, that might be true for some of you, but I'm finding it hard to believe it's true for all of you.
So when you have a price point of $160 for Friday the 13th, and people say, take the film, the amount of films today and the amount of extras, divide it into that price, you'll see, you're actually paying less. Well, then Valentine should not be $30.
Thanks, Jamie.
Oh, son of a fucking bitch.
Thanks, Jamie.
You're welcome, Al.
Son of a fucking bitch. Orc.
Orc! Yo, Orc! Orc.
What up, homies? How's it
Round here.
Yeah, boy.
Did that package finally make it for customs for you?
What package?
Okay, never mind.
I don't know, dude.
I didn't know
Figure out
Savage Meme Lord
today's
had
drink.
Joe
Diet Crush.
Oh yeah.
Oh
That's good stuff right there.
So
it's kind of. I brushed my teeth with it.
Orc, are you going to get the $30 Valentine's Day Scream Factory Collector's Edition?
$3. Can you say that again? Sorry.
Are you already drunk?
No, I don't get drunk. I take power naps, dude. The what?
Yeah. I was just saying that like Scream Factory's got to figure out their price point because Nightbreed comes out at $75. Valentine's Day is $30, $35, and Friday the 13th is $160, but you get like 15 discs. It's like it's all over. It's like it's almost like they just kind of draw a price out of a hat and go, let's charge this.
I don't know. I look at it. If you're like new to horror, I went to Walmart. I think it was yesterday, and like they had all the Paranormal Activity movies, all the Saw movies, the set that
Jamie did too. Jamie got some good pickups from Walmart.
I
one
did.
Jamie has, but you can literally get full sets of movies. A lot of them for $10. Like if you go into like really like dog shit town, like for like $10, like Hellraiser, where it's like the first two are really good, and then the rest are just complete trash.
Hellraiser 3 is the best one.
You get 20 disc DVDs, and they all come with Ginger Dead Man 3 Saturday Night Cleaver.
Yeah, it's like, and then you get a surprise, and then they're like, "What's this?" And they're like, "Bro, what'd you think of this movie?" And I'm like, "I haven't even seen that movie, and I've been into horror for 31 years, and that's not even that long, technically."
I'd like to make a statement. Gentlemen, I love this town. This town loves prime meat.
Falls off his rocker.
There we go.
Okay.
So is Ginger Dead Man the new Killer Shrews? Then is it just going to be the film that's on every collection ever?
There was Evil Bong. There was that one versus Evil Bong. I didn't. I'm a Puppet Master fan, but
Altered States. I'm sorry.
I thought Puppet Master was bad.
No, Puppet Master's great.
I hate Puppet Master.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I agree.
Not a fan. What
about
I'd rather watch Puppet Master than watch any Trauma film and get stabbed in the eye 15 times.
Trauma's okay.
Trauma is dog shit.
Some of it's okay. Some of it's okay.
Trauma's spirit I like. Like I love their documentaries of how they made Citizen Toxie.
Lauren, what do you think about Trauma?
Zoom up.
I think Troma is one of those companies that has lived in the margins and built up a cult following that will follow them anywhere, and that you can't look at that and not be impressed. On the same level, there's very few Troma films I really like.
I'm not in that cult. I don't have those Nikes. Holy shit! Thank you.
I think the original Toxic Avenger is fun. I think Class of Nukem High is fun.
Killer Condom?
No, I don't. I'm not going to go as far as Killer Condom.
These are all just classic titles you guys are naming.
Surf Nazis. Must Die is really good. I think that Poltergeist is very good.
Poltergeist, yes.
But there's really not that many, right? For a company that's existed as the longest running independent studio and distributor in America.
You can't insult them too much. They're near New Jersey, aren't they?
Let's talk about something relevant. Blizzards. You try any new blizzards there, Orc?
Blizzards, yeah. Well, hey, it's getting cold here now, but everything's pumpkin. So you just go to Dunkin' Donuts, you go to Starbucks, Tim Hortons, depending on where you are in the country. Just say pumpkin anything, and they're like, "Fucking here you go," and they just throw it out there. Here's where you feel. Here's where you find out where the real memers are in your community. If they have Halloween decorations, they meme hard, okay?
Pumpkin,
and if they're already going for Christmas,
go to Dunkin' and get pumpkin donuts and just shove them in there.
Dude, I inject Dunkin' into my eyeball, Hendrix style. That's what I do, man.
Dude.
Tim Hortons ruined their pumpkin donuts by putting glaze on them. It's disgusting. It's gross.
Okay. First off, girlfriend, okay?
Oh, no. I don't even know what to say to that.
Okay. Joe Bob, oh God. Joseph Purdue.
He's crying.
Every time I see your last name, I think of the college.
Purdue.
I think of Drew Brees and then him beating Tom Brady as I'm going through puberty.
I haven't been like watching it.
Oh!
I haven't been watching any of it fell.
What?
What have I done? This is what I've released upon the world.
What have you done, Lauren?
I feel like
Lauren, you sound like that quote from Suspiria, 2018.
2 minutes after the bomb.
Can you guys hear the blow dryer in the background?
No.
Okay.
No.
A blow card? What?
So guys, we're starting.
No, wait, hang on, Mr. Bombastic. What do you hear?
Oh no, there's a blow dryer going on behind me. I wanted to make sure that wasn't coming up on.
Oh, okay, my PS4 is on overdrive. Call of Duty Alpha Weekend. Bam! Oh yeah! Cold War, good game. Buy it. Work recommendation.
Work
I can't
recommendation.
get in Call of Duty.
I saw a bunch of those
it's
on
free, you
sale
don't
at
even-
Walmart yesterday,
What'd you say?
but I didn't buy it because I don't play that game.
What game?
Call of Duty, any of them?
Oh.
Nah.
I'm
it's not
more
my
of a Gears of
game.
War guy.
I like
Jamie's
horror
more-
games.
Jamie's more into Tetris.
Ooh.
Nah, I don't play
Outlast.
Tetris either.
Hey,
I
hey, hey,
could.
hey!
I
Don't be
tried
attacking
playing-
Tetris. I
I'm
also
not
like.
attacking Tetris.
I also
I'm
like
not.
the snake game where you can't touch the body of the snake. You gotta get the apples. That's good.
All right, we got 2 work recommendations
We're
coming
not
out.
in the
quickly.
80s anymore, Lord.
Nibbler?
We
I
got
wish
2
we were
work,
in the 80s. I wish we were.
2 work recommendations coming out quick, and then I'll shut the fuck up. STFU, that's what I'll do. Okay, bam. Do-do-do-ch. Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 remastered are all really, really good. Play those if you're big into horror games or just want to try them out. Really good single-player games. And then 3 more single-player games that are good are the 3 Outlast games, and they're way newer, but they're fucking terrifying. Oh, shit.
Have you played Until Dawn?
That's a real talk.
Until Dawn, I have not played, but I have heard it's very good.
It's
Yeah.
awesome, and you also have to play Man of Medan. They have a trilogy. The third one's coming out, I think, next month. So I'm definitely going to be getting it.
What the hell?
Big L.
I was losing it.
Lauren's trying to fuck with us.
The internet's great. These
Wait. So to clarify, and then I'll mute my
Until
mic. There's,
Dawn.
What about Dead
there's 2
Space?
now.
Finding
There's
any
2 now, and the 3rd one's coming out.
Finding any movie. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, there's 3 of them. There's 3 in this trilogy with Until Dawn, Man of Medan, and then the third one is coming out this October, but I cannot remember the name of it. But I'm definitely going to get it as soon as it hits the stores. Because I have the other 2 and I love the other 2. You got to play them. They're awesome.
I
Jonathan?
want to play Until Dawn, but I don't have a PlayStation.
They don't
I
have
understand
yeah,
you have the high score forever on Dance
Man of
Dance
Medan's
Revolution.
on Xbox,
I do.
PC.
I do.
Dance Dance is dope, and you know what I watch on Twitch actually is
I was mad
it's
that Tetris
what is
got a
it,
bad rap.
Rocksmith?
All guys.
Here a minute ago.
Yeah, I mean,
Dance
it's
Dance
always
Revolution is my fucking ass.
Tetris Attacks was the most played arcade I ever owned. Like, and that's no joke.
Tetris is.
I love
You know-
Galaga
It's Gosu.
and Grazian.
Uber fucking goes to, dude. You know how there's Guitar Hero? There's actually a thing called Rocksmith, and you just plug in the to your PC or your console, like the game, and you play with a real guitar. And I've seen people shred stuff. I like send them like Children of Bodom and like Dragon Force, and oh my god, the shit they play! It's just like some like 15-year-old, and he's just like sweeping all over the place. He's like,
He's like
Lauren,
the speech of
have you
Eddie
ever
Van
tried
Halen.
what?
I asked Lauren if he'd ever tried like Rocksmith or anything, since you actually.
I don't own a video game system.
Yeah, I mean, I tried it on PC.
No one's like, what the fuck are y'all talking about?
It's much harder to get to if you play an instrument already. It's much harder to try to grasp it in those.
Yeah, that's true.
Eh,
Getting a
console.
PlayStation was my midlife crisis. You know how most people will go out and they'll buy a car or whatever. Not me. I taught myself how to play video games. That was my midlife crisis.
Amen.
How old were you?
Yeah.
Crisis, because you're supposed to have your midlife crisis at your age right
Was
now.
this the first PlayStation?
Let's see. It was 2014-ish. So
okay.
It was a 4.
not that long ago.
Oh, okay.
I tell you what, if you want to play a good horror game, I don't know if it's available on consoles. Outlast is amazing.
Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
console.
Heard that.
I can get that on
Evil
PlayStation.
Within.
I have both of those.
Lauren,
I have
Lauren,
one and
The
two.
first one is so terrifying. Oh my god.
It is. It is.
Dead Space is awesome too.
Yeah, I
Kind
haven't
of
picked
First
it
one.
If they release a 4th one, Carpenter will never
360.
leave his house. So yeah. Oh, AC/DC. For those about to talk horror, we salute you.
I don't think that's how that song goes.
Let's get the movie people back in. So everyone's
Okay, back to serious horror.
One thing I wanted to ask.
I like Night of the Living Zombies.
Top 3 favorite David Lynch movies. Let's go.
Now I was gonna say with the chat and internet, but would you give all this technology up to go back to the way it was in the 80s, where you
absolutely, Cameron, absolutely,
100%.
No.
Depends if I
if it had been for this, we would not
I need clarification on the question.
Okay, so in the 80s and 90s, if you wanted to find Argento film, it took some work, it took months, sometimes years to find it. Now it's just a click on Amazon. Do you like the ability to just find whatever you want? Because Lauren can find movies all over the world now with a touch of a few buttons, a few orders. It's not. Do you like that, or did you prefer the hunt? Back in the day, did you like your friends would tell you about a movie, you'd hear whispers about something, then you had to track it down?
Jack off that shit.
I would love to hunt, but trying to find movies. Going to what was that store? Was it Media Play?
I missed the VHS stores.
Well, Media Play, On Cue, and Saturday Matinee were all the same company, right? Just in different parts of the country.
I just know we had a Media Play, and every time I went there, I was just like, "What is all this?" So that's where I found.
You guys gotta remember West Coast Video, Hollywood Video, Blockbuster, Planet Video. It's the good old days.
What state you repping, dog? Where you repping?
What state? Same as Piz.
Same as Piz. Oh, Kentucky.
Oh, you can.
Oh shit! I was driving through there one time, and a little kid was like, "Yo, can you buy me these smokes?" And I was like, "I can't do that, dude."
What? You said no?
I'm calling bullshit on this story. I'm calling bullshit on this story. There's no store in Kentucky that
I was outside of Lexington.
That doesn't exist.
This white kid who was 17 was like, "Can you buy me these smokes?" And I'm like, "No, dude. I'm just here to get this Coke Zero and take a piss, and I'll be on my way. I'm sorry, I cannot do that for you."
We found the one cop in the whole state that.
I don't believe that. He should have been.
No. This guy was purebred Kentucky, dude. I mean, he was like a mix between Griffin and Piz.
Jonathan, would you like to lean into this?
Well, Piz was born in Russia.
I love your grass, by the way, but not like that. That sounded really gay. Sorry.
That's our number one cash crop, sir. Is the grass.
Oh, bombastic! You're from Kentucky too?
Yep.
Tennessee,
if someone's gonna ask you for
Kentucky, and West Virginia. Amazing.
Like, hey, you got a 24-pack?
Yeah, dude.
I do. I always do. I always have 24 Mountain Dews in my house at all times.
Oh, I thought you meant beer, Jamie. I thought you meant beer.
I don't drink, Al.
No, dude.
I would have been like, I'm driving over right now.
I got drunk on Coffee Time one time. It was like right after New Year's.
I wish I'd seen that episode. I wish.
It's on there. You can find it. It's like right after New Year's 2019. I got a bottle of wine and I drank it all. And then I spilled it all over myself. And I spent a lot of time laughing. And then I had my son come in and solve his Rubik's Cube in 40 seconds, which it's awesome.
Oh, man.
What part of Kentucky are you from, buddy?
Oh, Kentucky meetup.
Northern.
Northern.
Well,
what is your exact zip code, and can you give me your date of birth?
He wants to know everything.
Yeah,
maybe the last 4 of your social. I have this application open on another screen.
Don't do it, Griffin. They're trying to find out where you are. They'll harass you.
They will.
I'm telling you.
Especially Orc.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. All day.
Orc is as far north as you can get, so don't worry about him.
I'm more north than Toronto, dog. Repping, just straight up.
The only reason I ask is
I like that.
There's like 3 cities in Kentucky, and the rest of it's just cows and.
What are the 3 cities? Lexington, Louisville, and then what else? Owensboro, huh?
San Diego.
Only known because there was a Civil War battle there.
Owensboro, that's Dale Waters' hometown.
So tell me about the town of Pikesville that Dead Pit transmits out of. What's that place?
Spencersburg.
Tell me about Transylvania. Transylvania.
As far east as you can possibly go in Kentucky.
Transylvania.
It's more like what.
So complete strangers are clicking on the video going, "Oh, this is a horror video." Click. They're talking about Kentucky.
John Carpenter came from Kentucky, as my boys on the right know. That's right. Yeah.
Griffin had a good question.
Thank you.
Griffin had a good question. He said, "What are your top 3 favorite David Lynch movies?" Well,
allergies.
Mine
None, and none.
Mine are definitely Fire Walk with Me, Wild at Heart, and Blue Velvet. In that order.
Yep. No Naked Lunch.
That's Cronenberg.
That's not Lynch.
That was. But thanks for playing.
Blue Velvet, Wild at Heart, and it's going to be a toss-up between The Straight Story and Mulholland Drive because they were both made right around the same time. But the Straight Story is an amazing film.
Oh, I love that's my personal favorite.
Yeah, I think a lot of people I know, they watch The Straight Story and they go, "That might be his best movie."
Well, it's like everything that Spielberg tries to do, and he always fails at. And Lynch does it once, and he knocks it out of the park.
Oh yeah, because it's sincere.
Yeah,
and that guy was actually dying of cancer while he was making it. So every single word he says is like a last testament.
Hell, I think Spielberg only did a couple of R-rated movies in his career. If I'm not mistaken, I know one shit was missed.
I'm not a big fan.
The ones that were released, the home movies.
Most of the stuff after the
2000s, exactly.
I'm not a huge fan of.
So for me, it'd be a Mulholland Drive, Fire Walk with Me, and Lost Highway in that order.
I like those 2.
That doesn't shock anyone out there at all. So.
Well, Lauren is a dark soul.
I miss VHS.
Al, I'm sure you do. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Are you planning to burn that towel after the stream, or?
No, this is my whenever I get my allergies and sinuses and my nose starts to run, this is my towel.
Okay.
Notice how nobody says Inland Empire is their favorite David Lynch movie.
No one has ever said
that's the only one.
I don't think I've ever watched any Lynch movie. The only thing Lynch I remember.
It's worth watching, Griffin. It's worth watching. It's just that it's a hard watch.
I don't blame you on.
You may want to jump off a bridge after you watch it because but I mean, if you watch it in 10-minute increments, like on YouTube, pause it, come back to it, it might be tolerable. Sitting there in the movie theater for 3 straight hours,
I saw those.
Let's just say I'm very messed up in the head. Obviously, I watched Eraserhead as a challenge from Cole.
Oh, Eraserhead! Wow.
And that movie made me want to just not do anything. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but that's at least 90 minutes. Inland Empire is over 3 hours.
Yeah.
There's 90 minutes of dog shit.
I can't watch a 3-hour movie. I'm sorry. I just can't do it.
Oh, but you can binge watch Netflix for 7 straight episodes.
I can watch a 3-hour movie.
No, I can't. I only watch the pilot. Ask Jay.
The problem with Inland Empire is about halfway through you have to take your pee break, right? Because it's 3 hours long. So you think you go, no, I'm not going to pause it. That's fine. And you walk away. And you never thought you'd do that with David Lynch.
It's just so gritty and it's kind of ugly. I mean, for David Lynch, it's kind of ugly.
Yeah, and
nothing happens.
No goddamn characters. There's no one to care about, so you don't care.
No.
Maybe it's good I haven't seen it.
No, it's
Al, are you on Claritin or something? You should take some Claritin or something.
I absolutely should. My allergies have been kicking my ass the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
And I've been sneezing, and plus I'm drunk, and now my nose is running. But I got to use the bathroom because I've been drinking a lot of alcohol. So I'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere.
Take some Claritin.
Be careful.
You're not going to sneak up on anybody, all right, buddy?
Don't get caught by the murder hit hornets.
All right, man. He's crazy.
Yeah, I would go with the Straight
Look at
Story.
that nice door, wow.
The Elephant Man and
Lost door.
Man, I don't know the third one. That's tough because I love pretty much almost all of his movies.
I know, me too. It's really hard for me to pick my favorites.
It's a toss up between Lost Highway and Mulholland Drive. I love both those films.
I'm gonna pee too. So
that's Mr. Produce's 3rd bathroom break in the last hour.
He must have a little bladder like me.
I'm curious, Jamie and Cameron, have you guys played Silent Hill 2?
Yep, many times, over and over and over again. It's my favorite game of all time.
because
Your all-time favorite. Wow.
Was just a gigantic. I think it's the biggest influence on that game.
Oh, absolutely.
It even has a note in there that says, you know, it's in the key is in Uncle David's apartment. It's written to Adrian Lyne, and then he's supposed to go down to this other apartment, and it says Uncle David. So it is influenced by David Lynch quite a bit. And even if you watch the making of, you know, Silent Hill 2, they'll tell you that.
Well, they mostly mention Eraserhead usually when they typically in the documentary. I believe they mention. Well, Blue Velvet, because there's a scene where he's in the closet and Pyramid Head's coming out and he gets the gun.
Yeah. Twin Peaks was a big one too on that one, he said.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
It is my favorite game of all time.
What'd you think of the third and fourth one?
I love the third one. The fourth one I have not played. I played 1, I've played 2, I've played 3. After the third game, I just decided it wasn't worth it. I've never played any of the others.
Give the fourth one a shot. But I would recommend, if you want the best ending, you're going to have to find the Saint medallions so they'll cleanse the hauntings in the room.
What bothers me about 4 is that, you know, you go from 2, which looks incredible, to 3, which looks freaking fantastic and amazing. It's an amazing looking game. And then 4, it doesn't look as good as the other 2.
4 was rushed in production. It was made simultaneously with 3.
Oh, believe me, I know all about the background. I've done a lot of research into the Silent Hill world.
This is Silent Hill?
Yeah.
I haven't played those. So.
That's like the one series I think Lauren would actually really like. At least the first 3.
Absolutely, Lauren. You would absolutely, especially Silent Hill 2.
I think his favorite would be the first one.
But instead of playing it, he can just go on YouTube and watch the playthroughs.
I don't know.
It's not the same. Mr. Bombastic, nice shirt. Going back to the days, got that shit for Christmas, son. Ocarina of Time, word up.
What shirt's that, Jonathan? What shirt's
Nintendo
that?
64.
Oh, you know what, guys? Nintendo 64 has been getting a lot of hate lately, but you know what? GoldenEye 007 was a great game.
That is the greatest party shooter game of all time. Maybe the greatest party game.
It's really difficult.
Damn
You've
right,
never played GoldenEye, Purdue? What?
I never.
Damn right.
I thought it. I've not played it.
Man, I don't even...
And I own it since the 4th, for God's sakes.
Oh my god.
Mark just had an aneurysm. Someone call the main Mountie. We'll show up with St. Bernards to get a Mountie.
Dog, you have perfect Oh my god, he's dying again.
I think something just died.
Jesus Christ.
Al, if you pass away, I get that shovel behind your head, okay, buddy?
No,
I don't want anything else.
I'll give you the saw. How about the saw?
No, I don't want a
saw
chain
on the wall. It's like a student film. It's amazing.
Is James Wan in your contacts? Because I don't want that shit. Fuck that. No, I'm
just
good.
remember, James Wan took.
I offered.
Danny Glover, maybe, because he's getting too old for this shit.
Orc, did you know that?
It's stuck horror.
The ending of Saw is from the ending of Mad Max.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
All right.
You want to talk horror?
Top 3.
Yes. Start a. George Romero.
Top 3.
Oh man.
George Romero. Oh.
Let's see. Bruiser.
Hold on.
He's coming at you, Cam.
Creepshow's my number 1. I know that's probably.
Creepshow. Yeah, Creepshow.
A favorite.
Romero's made.
How about this? Who liked the original? I'm not talking about the TV series, but the original Tales from the Crypt, the 70s. Did anybody like it?
The Abyss film?
Yeah, the black and white. The black one. Yeah, me too. It was good. I don't know why it just came to my mind for now.
Yeah, we've heard about it.
It was good, Joe Bob. You would like it. The original. It was good. Tales from the Crypt.
I would one day to see the full.
It's like different episodes, but like
Martin.
No, what Cam? What'd you say?
I would like to see the full version of Martin. That Romero's.
I love Martin.
Do you think Criterion or anybody's going to put that out? on Blu-ray?
They are. Arrow's putting it out, I think.
Oh, Arrow's gonna do it. I know they did an older release, right?
Yeah, it was called from night to dawn. They left out Martin.
God damn.
Yeah. Because it was a.
All right, unpopular opinion. I'll go 1 through 3. 1, Night of the Living Dead, black and white. 2, Dawn of the Dead, pretty standard. But at 3, out of all of his filmography, where he directs, I'll put Diary of the Dead, just because I love found footage. Very unpopular, but there you go.
That is very unpopular work.
That's a tough question.
That's you're sitting at a table by yourself at school. Unpopular.
I haven't seen a lot of
That's interesting work. I don't know. I don't have a comment on that, but that's interesting.
Anybody gonna put Night Riders on there?
Oh,
it's fun, but no.
I'm gonna go
it's a fun
with Night of the Living Dead, Land of the Dead, and then The Crazies.
What about Monkey Shines? Anybody like Monkey Shines?
Not enough.
Like
The Crazies. I like that, Jamie. The Crazies. I like that. Good
I haven't
pick.
seen Monkey Shines in a long time.
Would you argue, Lauren, that the remake of The Crazies is a better version than Romero's?
Yes.
Yes.
And I have recently.
Oh yeah.
Fun fact: I didn't even know about the
Absolutely.
original film until the remake with Timothy Elephant. Hello.
And the director of the remake is Michael Eisner's kid from the one who ran Disney.
That makes sense.
Oh my god!
I'd go Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, Creep Show in that order.
Yeah, I would go Night of the Living Dead, Creep Show, and Day of the Dead as well. I might put Creep Show on top. I love Creep Show. It's so much fun.
It kind of is a perfect film if you think about it. You know what I mean? Like just in construction.
The Lonely Death of Jordy Verrill is the weak peg that stops you from being
Meteor
perfect.
shit.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Nah, don't work for me.
Well, didn't King get really pissed
I'm
off?
sorry.
Romero? Like he thought he allowed him to just go over the top with it, and he didn't like it. And...
Do you think? Yeah, I don't think King had another option about to go over the top.
And he's got his fucking son in that movie too.
Griffin, you do a pretty good imitation of that. That's
Hey,
pretty
Jay.
Speaking
James,
of
hop
imitation,
in, man. Hop in.
Every time I hear Jamie's laugh, it sounds like Lisa Simpson.
Oh no!
That's not a bad thing.
Allergies acting up today.
And suddenly we're in a different place entirely.
Excuse me.
God damn!
Damn, I felt that.
Allergies.
I think you got some spittle on me.
Lauren, you gotta.
We're gonna catch COVID.
I know.
No, guys.
Leslie
just my.
Nielsen, he
I have
absolutely kills
sinusitis.
it.
Sinuses.
Hey,
I never.
Al,
Sinusitis.
I heard that you were shocked to find out I smoke.
Well, it depends what you smoke. What do you smoke?
I smoke cigarettes. And...
What's your brand?
Well, you know what? I never thought you smoked, Jamie, but cigarettes, it's okay because I smoke cigars once in a while. But I thought you smoked the good stuff.
Well, every once in a while, but not like in the last 20 years so much.
I wish I could, but my job drug tests me, so I can't. Otherwise, I would.
Lauren, that comment is great from Big Crack Rock. Al's gonna blow out my subwoofers.
What happened? Al's gonna blow my son. Sorry, listen, Big Crack Rock. Dude, I got allergies, man. I'm drunk. It's cold in Philadelphia. I have allergies.
Look,
sorry, man.
Oh, you're from Philly?
And I get work.
I'm in Philadelphia, dude.
Pats or Geno's?
Al blew out my earphones. Rock music. Oh, Rock Music Forever. That's my buddy, man. He's hilarious. Everybody go check out Rock
now
Music
that he lost his hearing.
Listen, my allergies are kicking my ass today.
I can tell. One week it's the murder hornets. This week it's allergies.
Back to Romero.
Lay out the booze, Al.
Lauren, have any of you read John Russo's books that he wrote?
I've
you
tried.
Said read books.
I've tried.
I know everybody just reads the menus on.
So no, the problem is like Russo is a really dry writer. Like it feels like you're reading stereo instructions. So.
Oh my god.
I mean, midnight is the one that most people get through.
Oh yeah.
So if you're gonna start somewhere, I'd start there.
Well, his rewrites and additions to Night of the Living Dead with all that. Let me tell you.
All right, that's good.
Did you?
It's like Goldenrod, Al.
Griffin, you ever Night of the Living Dead where they added about 10 minutes of footage to the movie, a prologue, epilogue? That was all John Russo.
Sorry, Al, but you're not killing shit today with that sneeze. What happened on that night, no one will ever forget. Achoo! Achoo!
Dak, I'm gonna get you.
Barbara.
Al, I bet you're allergic to Goldenrod because that's what's coming out right now and driving everybody crazy. It's driving me. I have
it's just I just have like seasonal allergies, and sometimes like tomorrow I'll be fine. This happens like every like 2 weeks. I get like a 24-hour sinus thing, and then the next day I'm fine. It's just it's.
Hell, when this outbreak started, I was sick like a dog. But thankfully, it was not COVID.
No, yeah, this is just I've had allergies since I was 10. It's nothing.
I like how everybody on here is.
Sorry for the blow in my nose, guys, but I just have to. I gotta let
it's comedy gold.
Let's talk 70s horror.
Okay.
All right.
I just watched Let's Scare Jessica to Death.
I love.
Great fucking movie.
Phenomenal.
Great fucking movie, Griff. At least I think so.
I
I
don't know
just
what it
love
is, but
movies where people whisper at you. That's all. To be
I
honest,
don't know what it is about the 70s, but especially low.
Yes,
low
Amazon's
budget
here.
movies
My Amazon order.
are
Oh, this will be
always
fascinating.
depressing as hell.
It's just
Hell
great.
yeah.
Like that.
Could it be a
atmosphere of
horror movie?
depression.
Amazon, right here, buddy. Thanks, man.
He's got
It's
Jack.
Live vicariously
Mailman.
through Al. This
He was
one's for
under
you,
the
buddy.
mailman.
Never stop memeing.
Yeah. That was it.
Zero fucks given. I
Get him
love
on
it.
get him on the show.
He had to go offline. No,
Get
he's
him on the
back.
show.
Yeah, appreciate
Hey, how do you
it.
feel about
Take
horror?
care.
How do you feel about horror there, man?
Introduce us to your friend, Al.
I think I got a good horror DVD, but I'm not going to open it now. I'm going to wait till I get
Because it
inside.
might be the other DVD you ordered.
What,
there's
a
times when I think
porno?
I can't make it anymore.
I watch porno and I'm worse. I quit porno.
You're lying. Even I watch porn.
No, because you know what? I'll tell you why I quit porn. I don't want to. I don't want to. No, it's the same thing as going to a strip club. You look at girls that you can't have. I rather do.
I'd rather look at girls in parking lots because you can have them, and then you just have
exactly. Or just get an escort.
Jesus, Lauren, girls in parking lots? That's terrible.
All right, simmer down there, Al. Simmer down.
And if you play your cards right, with just a few
no.
photographs, you can get
We're all adults.
So there you
We're all
go.
adults.
Al jacks off the gay porn.
No, hey, no, nothing gay about me.
All right, I got
Nothing
a
gay
question for
about me.
everybody. With 70s horror, do you guys
Nothing
prefer the theatrical cut or I can't remember what the other version's called of The Exorcist?
Parking lot drive-through cut.
Which version do you prefer?
The writer's cut or the
or the director's cut?
Wow,
Director's cut. I would say
Vladdy
director's cut.
will fully say either is his cut, but
I would say director's cut.
I'm just curious as a version.
I think both versions work. I just don't think any of the tinkering actually necessarily made it a better film. The crab walk everyone talks about, or spider walk, everyone talks about as if it increased the value of the film, but to me it is too big a shock too early. So
It is creepy.
I would go with the original probably.
Yeah, I for a long time I was thinking, oh, it would be the director's cut, whatever it is. But the things that stop me are Reagan morphing face, like talking to the psychiatrist. That's where it like oversteps. Just having some extra scenes is cool, but those extra things like more Pazuzu in there, I don't know about that.
I think this is. Oh, sorry.
So it's just definitely a if it ain't broke situation.
I don't know if this is 70s, but let me look it up. Hold on.
Bring it up anyway. Who cares?
All I know is thanks to Christian Hannah Horror, I love Exorcist 3. because I've never seen it before. Christian Hannah Horror did a review, and
I have a freaking video on my channel about it.
Okay,
thanks to Rambo.
I never seen it.
I just found this movie.
Yeah, I never seen it until Christian did a review.
Shout out!
I love Exorcist 3.
Shout out to Rambo Rap for Life, who did a review 13 years ago.
Better than 2.
Mellow Yellow's king.
Fuck, Lauren.
Have you seen Exorcist 2, Al?
I have not.
God damn it. You have to see it.
But Jamie, to my knowledge, the true sequel is Exorcist 3, from what they're saying.
Jamie and others on the Coffee Time chat are big Exorcist 2 advocates.
I am. I've loved it since I was a little girl. I happen to think it's wonderful.
And that's fine. That's fine. I just love Exorcist 3. It was just, I mean, I watched it, I'm like, holy shit. And then when she's walked on the, it was just such a creepy,
the rooftop scene is the
terrifying.
one everyone remembers.
But the beginning too. I'm like sitting there watching it drunk. I'm like, holy shit!
Really remembers
movie
that
has
movie?
the most obnoxious.
I'm
I don't
like,
know, the sound effect with the.
It was great. Yeah, it was just fucking great. Like just such a good movie. And the score, the theme, it was just good enough by itself. Like it was
Exorcist 2, The Heretic,
so boring.
is one of those weird movies where nothing quite raises your attention and they put Darth Vader in a giant bug outfit to give a monologue about wings brushing together from the bad locust, and you still don't care.
Nope.
The funny thing is, the British critic Mark Kermode said that Exorcist 2 was like watching a fever dream of a crazy imagination. And the thing is, though, is that you hear that makes you immediately want to rush out to see the movie, and it's like it's okay, I guess.
Not really.
What about
I don't look at it as an Exorcist movie. I look at it as like its own thing. It is a very strange film, but I never saw the series. I know the Exorcist series, that one that just came out recently, got a lot of good marks about it, but I never saw it. But I heard really good things.
It's the most horrifying thing I've ever seen.
Is what?
It's not a great. I mean, it doesn't have a great. Oh, I'm sorry. It doesn't have a great story, no doubt, but there's something about it for me that visually is
visually it's amazing.
So
I love that Reagan becomes Jesus in the middle of the movie, and then they drop the subplot. Oh, by the way, she can heal people. Never mind. It's not important.
Yeah, I watched that in The Room.
The Room.
Yeah.
Okay, so the movie I was looking up earlier, I don't know if any of y'all seen it, but See No Evil with Mia Farrow. Is that any good?
Yeah,
What year is that?
71.
I thought about the 2006 movie Kane.
Oh no, you were thinking about See No Evil, Hear No Evil with Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor.
Somehow I doubt that's what he's thinking. I don't
the
know
Jacob Goodnight movie, whatever.
What do you think about the Soska sisters, Mr. Purdue? You like See No Evil too?
Fuck no. the Jacob Goodnight character, you will not believe it. He is the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. And I'm like, what? I don't know, man. It's just so.
I do think American Mary is the shit, though. And Catherine Isabel is hot as fuck.
Well,
yep.
That's technically
Guess
true.
I'm alone on that one. Fuck
it's technically true.
Where the hell did that come from?
Me watching Ginger Snaps in 2000, 20 years ago.
Yep.
I love Ginger Snaps. I love
them.
them.
Freak me out.
I watch it every Halloween.
Great movie.
It's my favorite werewolf movie, but the sequel is terrible.
What is everybody watching tonight? What horror movies is everybody watching tonight?
I think you asked this already.
Yeah.
I'm asking it again, Lauren.
Okay. It is a free discussion here.
I'm watching both It movies.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How about this? Lauren, what do you recommend I watch tonight? Horror.
It doesn't matter what I ask you, what I recommend you watching. You're not
Whatever's
watching
in that package you just got, watch that.
Yeah. 1930 shit.
That's a good idea, yeah. Hey, there's nothing wrong with 1930s horror. Listen,
Bombastic's like, whatever the fuck you just got in the mail, just watch that shit.
That's a good idea. Jonathan, I absolutely will. That's a good idea. But there's nothing wrong with 1930s horror. Listen, Lauren likes 30s, and I agree. There's some good movies in the 30s. Nosferatu.
That's not the 30s, my friend.
not
it was in the 30s. I thought it was Wolfman. Was that the 30s?
That's the 40s.
40s.
You're looking for Dracula?
Man, Lord, why do you have to go so back into the movies, man? I don't know. My decade is the 80s. Everybody knows that. And, 70s too, but my decade is the 80s.
So, Al, what do you think of the movie Blue Monkey?
Never heard of it.
What about 976 Evil?
Part 2.
Not part 2. I didn't see part 2, but I liked the original.
There's a part 2?
That's when you just stare at the cover.
There is a part 2.
I didn't know that.
It's even worse.
Oh, God.
What was that original? Yeah, Trick or Treat with Ozzy Osbourne?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Gene Simmons. Both.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember that.
Prominently featured on the cover.
Oh, Jess is back.
Jess.
Hey,
It's gonna be up. Jess, it's going to be up to you. Do I let Joe Bob back in after his comment?
What do you say? What do you say? What do you say?
No, it's honestly up to you, Lauren.
No.
I'm glad to be back.
I'm too drunk. I don't remember what he said.
We're going to make it a vote. Those who feel that Joe Bob should be allowed back after he referred
What
to
did Joe
34
Bob
as
say?
shit,
Nice speak.
raise your hand if you want him back.
I'll let the kid back.
1, 2, 3.
Give him a break. Come on, man. Give Joe Bob a break. Joe Bob.
He means well.
The Electoral College has brought you back, sir.
I knew that was going to happen.
Hey, how did you know? What have we
This
said
is like
now?
a scuffed Supreme Court.
Well,
What the
hell
fuck?
yes. 402-1971. Freaks is good.
Oh,
1930s.
absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tom
That's
Brownie
a
makes
classic.
brownies.
Yeah, Freaks is good.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
Click the link and get your butt in here. Seriously, come on.
Do it.
Wait.
We're only
who's
going
it?
for another
Oh
half
my
hour.
God, there's like so much
come on,
space in here.
James.
Because
Here's a-
otherwise,
here's a question,
I will not have
sort of
seen
horror.
any freaking sun.
What
Even it
kind of
out.
horror?
Come on in.
Okay.
Come on in, everybody. Come on. Don't be shy. Come on in. Come on in.
Tim Burton's 3 worst movies.
Too many
Go.
shy guys.
I like Tim Burton. Unpopular opinion.
You want to go Ted and Lauren?
Willy Wonka.
Yeah, Willy Wonka.
Okay. Willy Wonka is the worst. Dark Shadows has to be that close.
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes?
No, because that's just a bad idea. It's not even particularly done poorly. It's just a bad idea.
Helen Barker.
I got a movie.
And you know what? No. I'm going to include Sam Raimi's Oz film in that because it basically is a Tim Burton film, and it's bad.
It's
Oh, you mean Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
I want everybody's opinion on this movie, set from the 70s. I'm sure a lot of people seen it. Lauren, I'm pretty sure you're seeing it. Squirm.
I love Squirm. I used to be
love Squirm. Squirm was man. Awesome.
Squirm screwed me up though as a kid because I would not drink milk.
Because you thought the worms would be in the milk or something like that, or
no? Oz
Exactly.
the Great and Powerful.
Yeah. Yes. Squirm was fucking badass. I love Squirm.
I prefer Slither to Squirm, but I do like Squirm a lot.
Christian,
Christian, what's up, boy?
So
my God! It's
just
Christian.
I know that there's at least one other
CHH.
There's at least one other person trying to get in, but we are full at the moment. If someone drops, I'll be happy to add you. So keep trying if that's the case.
I'm not going to be long. I just wanted to come in and say hey to everybody. I saw Lauren.
Hey, Chris. What's up, brother? Christian, you like Squirm, don't you, bro?
I haven't seen Squirm. It's on Shudder though, so I'm gonna fix that this weekend. So
yeah, it is. I
Damn it! That was gonna be a question on the next game show. We were gonna finally get it.
You can't beat THH, man. You can't beat THH.
And look,
Sweet Christian,
hey,
I like that.
Did you watch Dynamite last Wednesday?
No, I haven't been watching wrestling, man. My work schedule's crazy. It's hard.
Yeah, if you get the chance, watch it.
Understandable.
That main event was awesome.
Joe Bob, I watch wrestling. Who won? I haven't been keeping in tabs.
Best Friends and Santana Ortiz. Best Friends won. It was like
okay,
a parking
guys.
lot
I let you
brawl.
talk video games. I'm not going to let you talk wrestling. You have to draw the line.
Yeah, just, all right, guys. Yeah, don't worry. Just
It was
horror.
just brief. It's just
Only
brief.
horror. Listen,
Because
we're
Christian was
horror.
in here.
Yeah.
Horror fans. That's it.
So Christian, I understand you want to talk about my penis for 3 hours. That's what you said on the air yesterday.
Wait, talk about what?
My penis for 3 hours. This is what you said yesterday on the air.
Can we get 3 hours out of that?
Listen,
We've been going for 3
I'm
hours.
not sure we can get 3 minutes out of that.
It's not the size; it's the motion of the ocean.
It would be going for
Ocean.
3 hours.
I think you're doing something wrong, dude.
Hey, what was the deal with all the pickle references the other night? That was insane. Everybody was talking
Yeah,
about
who started that?
what was the deal? Was this a penis reference?
What?
What did I freak everybody out because I
I don't
said
even know what you're talking.
penis?
Where is this?
No, I'm
I said
intrigued.
penis.
So it's
Continue.
just off. It's very penis. The chat
Look at-
penis forward right now. So I'm just trying to gather my thoughts here. What's going on?
Which show was all the pickle references on?
It was on your show.
My
If it
show?
wasn't
Oh,
Vlasic,
yeah,
I don't
Thursday.
I thought it
care.
was Rick and Morty.
Oh, the classic pickles
Yeah.
or something. Oh, that was Gassman.
Yeah, I just don't know
Okay.
why it would be. I just didn't know why it was being talked about. What?
I have no idea.
Did Raiho do something to cause this that I'm unaware of?
Rio Magnifico.
I don't know. They just started talking about
From
pickles.
fucking
So
Kennedy.
I brought up
Is
the
that
fact
what-
that the thicker the pickle, the better the juice.
Good lord.
Sorry,
Are we still talking about horror?
I don't know. Am I talking in doublespeak? Sometimes I do.
Well, this is pretty much my nightmare about how this stream was going to go, so sure.
Pickles and video games and fucking.
Gobble, motherfucker.
Christian, you may have the floor.
CHH.
Mute him. I think I love you. Hold on. Bear with me. I think the next game show should have the guest host be Joe Bob Tarhill. making
Yes!
all the questions.
Yes. Fucking
I
A.
agree.
Joe Bob Tar Hill. Joe Bob
with
Tar
that in mind,
Hill.
let's talk about what's coming up on the show
Joe
in the
Bob
coming
Tar
weeks.
Hill.
Mine, if I host it, it would not be horror.
Well, then you're
It's
not
a horror
hosting.
game.
What is it gonna be porn? Is it gonna be porn?
Christian, why don't we just have
Fast food.
Joe Bob and
Fast food.
Heartbreaker host it then at that point?
Oh, Heartbreaker. Oh, he's
They can
dude,
tag
he's
team the goddamn
hilarious.
thing.
Dude, him and Christian always fight.
If it was
Him and
pop culture, yes, I'll do it.
I'll get up to check because I got to do some work. But thanks for having me on, Lauren, and nice seeing everybody.
Yeah, Cameron,
Oh,
yeah,
take it
buddy.
easy, Cameron. Don't. Oh, shit. He's on, he's on.
Yeah, get Heartbreaker on. That'll be hilarious, man. Him and CHH are going to be back and forth. Heartbreaker and
I can't
CHH.
help but think of that Dionne Warwick song. Ugh.
Dionne
Joe Bob,
Warwick
you'll
song.
be fine.
What
You'll be
What's that,
fine,
Jamie?
Joe Bob.
What song? Dionne Warwick. What song?
Heartbreaker.
I don't remember that
I'm
one.
pretty sure you mean Pat Benatar.
Oh, James is on. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
It's James.
James.
Hey, James.
Hi, James.
You've entered the loud room.
Everybody's happy to see you.
Yeah, James is the man.
How many hats are you wearing, sir?
Hey guys.
He's a comedian.
Hello.
God save the Queen.
Where's your microphone, James? 'Cause
God damn it, James.
Can I I've just had two different screens coming on, so it was I was hearing.
Oh, he's doing the body double image. I get it. All right.
Hey guys, I love y'all. I gotta go. Just
Later,
wanted to stop and say
CHH.
hi.
Bye, Christian.
Later, Christian.
CHH.
To the pair of you.
James, where is your microphone?
Yeah, James.
Sorry, it's on the floor. Yeah,
Yeah.
as usual. I usually forget.
Yeah. I know.
So
It's just part of my, it's one of my
Jonathan's
trademarks.
asleep. We have 2 hats of. Well, he's gone now.
John, he pulled me. Jonathan pulled me. He fell asleep.
I'm just kidding.
Anyways, let's get back to horror. Horror.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh wait,
What
nothing's
happened to
good
That's
in
it,
the
Orc.
theater.
I don't know. Where's James?
Wait, yeah, James needs to come. Oh, he's coming back. Wait.
He's coming back.
I'm gonna mute
He's back. He's back.
I'm going to mute everyone but James.
Sorry, I apologize for that.
No, it's cool. So James
Went a bit wrong. I wanted to bring up a film that I wanted to discuss with you as well. The, Alice, Sweet Alice, but also another film from around that exact time that I had a fascination with, and I mentioned in the chat, was The Visitor. And I think, whereas Exorcist 2, you can rightly sort of say, okay, this is a disaster in some respects, even though I like it. I mean, The Visitor was made for far less, and it's just a complete bizarre oddity. I recommend everyone to watch that one. Really, I mean, it's got quite a good cast, and it's the soundtrack of it. If you listen to that alone, it's like made for some kind of like epic film, But anyway, I don't know if anyone's seen that film. So
I have. It's just been so long.
it's got
Sweet Alice is the bomb. I love that movie.
John Huston's in it.
I think Glenn Ford.
I don't know if we're talking about the same. What did you say? Yeah, boy, Orc.
Yeah, boy.
Which film are you saying you like?
I said Alice, Sweet Alice is the shit.
Oh yeah,
I
that
love
one.
That
No,
movie.
but what about The Visitor? Have you?
Yes, Orc. Agree.
I have not seen The Visitor, mate.
It's Stridulum. Oh, don't start about that.
James, you like?
Let me see that again.
Oh man.
No, I actually visited Atlanta where they filmed a lot of The Visitor, and I was in a Starbucks there, and this guy just started doing, that London accent, and I was like, "What's happening?" Anyway, I mean, I think we ought to discuss allergies again. So yeah.
Southern American.
It's 2020. It doesn't really matter.
But,
wait, James, did you like Exorcist 3?
Of course, yeah.
Yes, thank you. That's all I wanted to know.
I'm a big fan of that one. I got it.
I love it. Thanks to CHH, because I've never seen it before CHH.
I got that recently.
No, because it's such a good movie, Lauren. It's such a good movie. It really is.
I did a 20-minute video on Exorcist 3, and
I didn't see it. I never seen it.
Who wasn't even alive when the film came out?
You've got to watch it again.
I didn't see it. I gotta go back.
I am pulling that
it,
sound. That sound is getting used.
I gotta see it. I gotta link it. Go ahead, James. Sorry, go ahead, man. Sorry, man.
I don't know what to say, really. I just.
So
yeah, The Exorcist 3 is a good film, but it was perhaps a bit overlooked in some respects. Certainly in the UK. I'll
love
give
that
you
movie.
the UK take on everything.
James, would you consider Alice, Sweet Alice one of your favorite 70s horror?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely.
Definitely. Yeah.
James, top 5 70s horror. Go.
What about Scare Jessica to Death?
I haven't seen that one, no. But of course, I know the title, but I think the title put me off slightly, but I should make the effort and watch that.
Lauren, thoughts? Lauren, Jessica?
I love Let's Scare Jessica to Death.
Great
Me
film.
too.
It's a very quiet, weird film with a bunch of hippies in it. So, of course I like it.
Good movie, yeah.
Has anyone of you ever seen that film that was called, not Head, but it's not The Monkeys? It's directed by Alan Rudolph. It was also called something like, and it's got hippies in it, but they smoke this weird flower that they find in the desert.
I mean,
and then they start like attacking each other. It's really bizarre film.
That's like any weekend at Orc's house, though.
It's called Head, but it's not
Round Air.
And some
Round Air.
Anyway,
so James, at a point, you and I need to do a real deep dive into Alice, Sweet Alice and Catholic horrors.
Yes.
But that has to be its own thing, I think. It's not going to be productive on the show.
You know what film scared the...
That's got to be an interview.
This is like laughable now. Like when I was young, a film that scared the bejesus out of me was Kathy's Curse. And I was like, oh, Kathy's Kiss. I'm not going near that one. You know, don't even touch the VHS. You know, and it's like, I look back and I'm thinking, like, what the hell was I even thinking? Like that. But, you know, I don't know. It's just, it probably is scary in some sense.
Have you seen Kingdom of the Spiders?
No.
Great movie. Great movie with
is it a little bit different?
Shatner.
William Shatner, absolutely terrifying. I liked it better than Arachnophobia. I personally, what's up, bro? I liked it better than Arachnophobia. Great.
Well, you having some kind of like garage?
Great movie. Great movie. Kingdom of the Spiders.
James, have you seen
Al, you can't like wave at somebody without showing us. You got to turn the camera and show us who you're waving at.
He got in the car. He got in the car.
What were you gonna ask, Griffin?
Have you ever seen The Devil's Reign?
Yeah.
No. I think actually, has that got that Burgess Meredith in it? Or?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I've seen a bit of it. That is just
the Goat Man. That's the Goat Man movie.
Too much for me to cope with, to be honest. Like when films get really sort of florid and kind of going into like devil worship and stuff, I start, you know, not being able to concentrate.
That was John Travolta's first movie, wasn't it?
Yep.
Oh, yep. Well, I should probably watch it sometime, but I think the scare, you know, to death one interests me.
Yeah, I think you would like it. If you like Alice Sweet Alice, I think you would enjoy Let's Scare Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, Alice Sweet Alice, you'd hardly like watch it on a weekly basis for enjoyment. The thing is, it's very grim, really, and like you know.
Well, they're both grim, bleak films.
But also that kind of heightened sort of histrionic sort of acting that you get in Twin Peaks a bit as well. There's moments that are like laugh out loud funny, you know, with like women just screaming into the camera. And things like, you know, it's just.
Are we talking about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man?
No, but it's just, you know, I think the 70s, it's just a 70s style, especially in that. I don't know. I like films where you kind of can tell that the director doesn't really, he's not applying himself to sort of conventional filmmaking. The same is true of Carnival of Souls a bit.
Yeah.
You know, he's a documentary filmmaker, really, or made just ads or something, I think. And Alfred Soul, who made Alice Sweet Alice, was similar. I think it's his only film, or just, you know, and yet it's so good. So,
Herc Henkel, I mean, the whole thing about Carnival of Souls is it feels like you're stuck inside a music box for the whole time.
Yeah.
It's such a lyrical film, and that's just so amazing. And I think the horror genre is specifically able to let artists do that in a commercial setting. We're not talking art films here. But there's not another genre where you can make a Candyman or a Carnival of Souls.
I think, like, you know, Game Over is slightly, you could almost compare, even though, because that's very focused, which is sort of admirable, even though it gives you these beautiful shots at the start, you know, like where she lives in India and the tower blocks and,
which
so, you know, but
I love because if you watch the Hindi version of it, they just changed Chennai to Dubai to another town in India. It's just like with a subtitle, which blows my mind that they just care that much inside the same country.
James, I got another question. So, growing up, the Hammer horror films, were they like pretty much everywhere when you were a kid?
Oh, in the UK, yeah. I mean, I suppose they were more on BBC and things than they are now because, you know, they seem to be like a trend for putting them on a lot at night, you know, and Hammer double bills, etc. When I was quite young, and
are they really respected at all in Europe?
They are in this country, yeah. Now I would say. I mean, we had like Hammer House of Horror, that TV show, you know, like the House That Dripped Blood, where all the children are screaming.
The House That Dripped Blood.
It's like that is ridiculous, but I mean. Kind of scary, but far superior was Tales of the Unexpected. So by Roald Dahl, you know, based on his books mostly. I mean, Hammer films, though, I'm not really an expert on them, I must say. I mean,
James, can I ask you? You know. Can I ask you? Do you have firsthand memories of Ghostwatch?
Oh yeah, I watched that when it was actually on, and I knew it was not real. So, but. Yeah.
So has the panic from it been overstated, or was that a real thing?
I can't say from. I think my brother and sister, it's to do with partly like critical awareness. Sometimes some people are very suggestible, aren't they? They like thinks people in soap operas are. If they saw them in London town or whatever, they're like, "Oh, mate, what you did the other day, that was really bad." And it's like, you know, I think Ghostwatch got into that kind of thing where people don't quite understand that these are quite clearly actors, and you can tell that they're acting. Because
do the rest of you guys know what Ghostwatch is?
Yeah.
Never heard of it, Lauren. Tell me about
it. I know what it is.
I'll give you a brief because I think it's cool to actually have someone who experienced it firsthand. Ghostwatch was basically a TV movie of the week type thing, but it was put on as if it was a news broadcast using real news broadcasters. And it took you inside a real quote unquote, real haunted house for a broadcast. Now it ends really wild, but there's a really effective scare about at 3/4 point.
It's just the name of the ghost came into my mind.
Yes.
Pipes. It's like
pipes. Because you know they kept blaming the sounds in the house on pipes and whatever. But it's a really effective piece. But it is. The War of the Worlds of England is its reputation. You know.
I think with me, you know, I just could tell from the acting and stuff. But I definitely understand that, you know, there were some people who sort of took it seriously because, the Enfield was obviously used in those. Was it one of the Conjuring 2, or is it
It's
the Enfield haunting film?
Yeah.
Conjuring 2.
Oh, it's on Shudder. I'm gonna have to check that out.
It's awesome.
Like,
you'll enjoy it.
Guess I need to get Shudder.
Yeah, with the actress from Bates Motel, I can never remember her name. Anyway, and she's also in, you know, the
Vera Farmiga.
Yeah,
there you go, Jamie. I was about to say that. Jamie got it.
There is a pseudo remake of the thing called it's WNUF Halloween special or something. Do not watch that thing. Make sure you're watching Ghostwatch.
Yeah, I think Ghostwatch is actually. I can understand that people sort of like fell for it. You know, like there was some autistic guy who. Well, I don't know why I'm laughing now about this. But like, you know, it drove one person to like basically suicide. Apparently, I don't.
Wow.
Guys, I've been here for 3.5 hours. I'm out.
So, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Joseph. But
Joe Bob, take care, brother.
I look forward to seeing you, buddy. I look forward to seeing you again.
Why did he flip everybody?
He's only flipping
Ghost. Don't worry. Al, really? What the hell is going on? I mean,
does he have like a
sinus allergies?
That's not just normal allergies. That's like running naked through a cornfield or something.
No, for me it is. Believe me.
No one builds up enough phlegm.
He's got Tourette's.
I mean, I have allergies as well, but you know.
He's got Tourette's. You've got COVID. What the fuck is going on, dude? I leave for a year. I leave for a year, and then.
Oh, Jess is back.
And Jess is smoking on camera.
I love when Jeff comes in.
Jess is smoking weed.
Jeff is like related to Dave Navarro and just gives zero fucks. Just look at him. Just like the cool little
Jess.
What can I say?
Jess.
It's
device problems. It's good
thing
back,
I'll never
guys.
try and be monetized, doesn't it?
I got a
yeah,
question
well,
for
you never know. With
and James.
some of the shows, your highest ratings are with this crazy group. What can I say?
Exactly.
It's very.
What
true.
you mean when a random person comes in called Kenneth?
Well, that I wouldn't give him all that
we're
credit.
not even talking about that.
Yeah.
So, James.
No, it's not worth
What are
it.
some of your favorite Alfred Hitchcock films?
Well,
oh, that's a good question.
I would say something like Shadow of a Doubt because I was.
That's a great one.
Did you say Hitchcock?
I saw that on the big
70s.
screen. I mean, I wasn't. To be fair, I wasn't that interested. But then I heard people saying this is sort of Twin Peaksian. You know, the small town,
Yeah.
the double-sided aspects of it, the alternate characters, and I mean, it's just a beautifully made film and beautifully sort of scripted, not and very admirable. You know, it's like Hitchcock when he was making a sort of straight-ahead film, and then you go all the way up to something like Psycho, and he's just gone in this sort of groundbreaking direction.
James, have you ever seen Frenzy?
Oh yes, yeah, Frenzy's really good. I like that. Yeah.
That's incredible.
That's it's sort of a bit more rough, I would describe.
That's definitely his most exploitative film. Right next
yeah,
to
it
Marnie.
is. It's quite nasty, actually. I mean, I wouldn't go, sit down with a grandma to watch it or something.
I just say my favorite Hitchcock not titled Psycho would be Lifeboat. I love Lifeboat. Yeah. Love Lifeboat.
I'm gonna go with
what year was that from?
44, I think.
Yeah, it's early.
I'd say my favorites are Rope, Marnie, and Rear Window.
Can't go wrong.
Marnie is a good film, definitely. I like Marnie because it's more subtle.
Yeah.
Did you like Sean Connery in that, or you think it would have been better with Cary Grant?
No, I actually like Sean Connery in it because he has that roughness that I think went along with that character pretty well. So I thought he did a pretty good job in that movie.
I can't remember if it was The Birds or Marnie, but wasn't it wasn't supposed to be Tippy in one of those two. It was going to be Grace Kelly. Is that true, or?
I don't know about that. I don't remember.
I have
all
some
I remember
problems
is
with the Birds.
Yeah, he put her through such hell with the birds that I don't know. I thought she was supposed to be in that from the beginning, but I don't.
She suffered allergies for the rest of her life.
She did. She did. But don't worry, Al has a towel for her. I think The Birds is kind of I hate to say this. I think it might be I think it's one of Hitchcock's worst films.
I think Al is frozen.
Is it because of the effects?
He's actually just sitting very still, I think. That's another allergy.
Oh, there you go.
No, I was texting
4 hours of drinking.
The effects in it for the Birds.
Everything just doesn't really gel in that movie. Like first of all, it's kind of like a weird stalker story to begin with, right? Like no one wants the attention that this girl buys birds and brings it to his summer house. I mean, and then above that, it's like when the birds attack, it just doesn't like when if you read the story, the novella, it makes sense because you realize that the birds are really just a metaphor, right? So you're willing to go along with the flesh metaphor, but Hitchcock does none of that work. He just makes it birds.
Yeah.
And then it's like the attic scene is really effective at the end, but then if all these birds in a swarm can attack her and she doesn't die, then what was up with earlier in the movie? And birds like blowing up the gas station. I mean, really, this is kind of Ubolish almost. It's kind of horrifically not Hitchcocky to me. I know that's not a popular opinion, but I've never taken the birds seriously.
It was.
What
if
that happened to you?
I get your point.
Lord, would you say this? Would you say The Birds was terrifying? Would you at least give it that?
No, even as a kid, I was laughing at the bird. It's like oh my god, it's a crow! What will we do?
I thought it was terrifying a little bit.
It is. I understand. It's all about the interpretation of like. I mean, if say there were loads of birds and they all come in your room, yes, it is terrifying in a strange way, but it's. Another word for it is just
silly.
I don't know what it is. I don't know how you describe that kind of thing.
Some people are really afraid of birds. I have a friend who is really, really, really scared of birds. Like she freaked out when we went to the aviary, or how do you say that? Aviary at the zoo. And we walked through it, and the whole time she's got her hands like this, and she's freaking out the whole time. Yeah. And I was laughing because I'm not scared of birds. I think it's funny.
I'm terrified.
That's right, Jamie. That's right, Jamie.
What is everybody's top 5 favorite Hitchcock?
5?
Oh, well, it's not my favorite, but does anybody here like Strangers on a Train?
Oh, I love that film.
No, I like Night Train to Terror.
Oh, that's a great Hitchcock film.
Is Night to Train to Terror is not by Hitchcock, right?
Yeah, I like it. I thought it was pretty good.
Throw in To Catch a Thief.
Inspired by Hitchcock. I think basically all films were inspired.
The
by
cover
Hitchcock.
art was great.
Exorcist 2 was actually majorly inspired by Hitchcock, apparently. just like especially the ending where they like just don't film in Georgetown and just make the set of it all.
I think the only inspiration John Borman had is lots of LSDs.
I liked it.
I don't know what the hell he was thinking, but it's the ending where they basically just have a set for everything, and it doesn't look like real, and it's like, what is the thinking behind this? And really, at the end of the day, you just realize the thinking behind it is too much money.
That's kind of how I feel about Marnie personally. It feels very set down, especially when they're doing
I mean, a lot of Hitchcock's films, big films are, but
that did not look convincing when they were doing the fox hunt.
I don't think it was supposed to do that though. And it actually works in a way by showcasing its sort of theatricality.
Okay, I can do 5. I can do my top 5. I didn't think I could.
Go ahead, Lauren.
Psycho, Lifeboat, North by Northwest, Rope, and 39 Steps.
North by Northwest.
Wow, I would have picked Frenzy to be in that list.
Nice list.
It and people always say that or Vertigo. And I like those movies, but I don't find myself going back to them.
I would go Foreign Correspondent, Strangers on a Train, Vertigo, Psycho, probably North by Northwest.
Psycho, Vertigo, Strangers on a Train. I even though it wasn't all him, the Alfred Hitchcock Presents, the original.
Presents, yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic. Yeah.
That theme music is stuck in my head forever for life. To that
yeah.
The Death March?
Yeah. Dun, 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 yeah.
Oh, I'm dying to hear Orc's top 5 Hitchcocks.
Come on, Orc.
Bring it.
All right, number 1, Rear Window. 2, Vertigo. 3, Psycho. 4, North by Northwest. 5, To Catch a Thief.
Nice.
No.
Jonathan?
I don't have much of an opinion on Hitchcock, man. I know it's unpopular. Just if you want to know about Pinocchio's Revenge, I'm your guy. But
I never want to hear that name. I want to never hear that title again.
I'm with Jonathan. I don't know.
I think you can find most of the movies on DVD for pretty cheap now, especially the box sets.
No, you can find them on YouTube for free.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen plenty of Hitchcock. It's just I don't.
That's where I saw.
I don't know. Call me
sequels for free.
Call me strange. It's just I don't put a lot of thought into them. I mean, they're well-made movies. They're fun, but it's just not.
I have to agree.
You'd rather watch Terminator 2, right? Fuck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Or Pinocchio's Revenge.
What was that film you recommended, Al?
The same director as The Haunting.
The train one, or what?
Just horror.
No, no, it was another train film, but it wasn't by Hitchcock. You just said it a minute ago. Night Train to Terror or something.
Yes. Yes.
Terror Train.
Sorry,
Terror Train, absolutely.
We call it Night Train to Terror, or
David Copperfield, actually.
Well, they're two different films.
Night Train to Pinocchio 2.
Wild Wild West.
That's my biggest fear. They're going to make a Pinocchio's Revenge 2.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I would give him. I would say, Shadow of a Doubt, Rope, Marnie, Psycho, and Vertigo.
So what puts Marnie? Just I don't not questioning. Just kind of curious. What's the big What's your favorite aspect of Marnie? Sean Connery, Tippy.
Me? No, I think for me it's more just I like the feel of it, the psychological aspect of it. It's concentrating. Yeah, it's going into that. What other film did he make that had a lot of? Rear Window I've excluded, and obviously that's a good film. What was the one that he had with Cary Grant, and it was all black and white? Spellbound.
Spellbound.
That had a whole Dali sequence and stuff. I mean, I think Marnie is one of his better ones if you're into that kind of thing, looking at the woman's sort of psyche or whatever, whatever it. And I don't think that. I think Hitchcock is portrayed wrongly as being some kind of, misogynist or something. I don't think he was at all. I think in fact he was just a director. You know, I don't think he was making birds attack Tippi Hedren or anything like this.
There's
it's like, but yeah.
There's a great an interview with him with was it Dick Cavett? He asked him, this actress was asking Hitchcock, which is her best side, her left side or right side? He goes, your back side, my darling, is your best side. Only Hitchcock could say that.
As a female, Marnie for me, I just relate to it. You know, as a female.
Is that dog's whining all the police?
Somebody.
There's a dog. My dog's going nuts. Sorry.
Oh.
Lauren, I have a question for you.
Of course, sir.
And I want your opinion.
16 New Jersey.
I emailed Meg Tilly once, and I asked her about her experience working on Psycho 2, and she had some negative things to say, but she wouldn't. No, and she wouldn't elaborate. What do you think happened?
You emailed Meg Tilly. What the hell?
I don't know.
What, from your garage? hey, Meg.
No, I mean this was.
Hey, Meg, do you like Scream?
This was years ago. Years ago.
Do you think? Do you think Meg sent the murder hornets after you?
Possibly, yeah. Possibly.
I don't think. I don't think it's easy for us, especially as horror fans, to really understand this. But Psycho 2, when it was being made, it started out life as a television project, then it became a theatrical, and it was a thing that was not very reputable. And I know that's weird because how we think of the movie. We think of it as kind of like the glitzy side of horror. Yeah. But at the time, like someone making a sequel to a Hitchcock film, it was thought of as, and it was going to be a slasher. I mean, if you go back and watch the Siskel and Ebert review of it, you'll see how much people were appalled by the idea. In ways, they were more appalled by Psycho 2 than they were by the slew of slasher sequels because it was sullying Hitchcock. It was bringing Hitchcock down to the level of 80s schlock. Of course, that's not how I see the film. It's not how you see the film. But for a lot of the actors involved, I think that in the beginning, when it was going to be a television production, it was a fairly harmless thing. But when it became this theatrical release and the trailers were cut, and they were very exploitative trailers, they're like, 23 years later, and Norman Bates is coming home. It's very over the top and very like obviously ham-fisted to sell that movie. And I think that they all signed up for one thing and they ended up making another, and none of them had perspective on it. So maybe it's just that.
That's probably what she meant, yeah.
But you want to know what? If this was like 15 years ago that you reached out to her, I wouldn't be surprised if she had a different answer now. Because the film is thought of differently now than it was even 15 years ago. Does that work for you?
Yeah, this was like 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
What did she actually say? Can you stop asking me about the shower scene?
No. She was really nice, and she just said, I forget exactly, but she just said that the experience was. She didn't want to talk about too much of the experience, and from what exactly I remembered her saying, not exactly like 100%, but it sounded like maybe Anthony Perkins was kind of like coming on to her or something. I don't know. That's the kind of vibe. That's the kind of vibe I got. I don't know.
Yeah, that could have been a bad thing.
Yeah.
Considering. I don't know.
It's weird because my memory. I'm sorry. I was just gonna.
He was pretty much more gay though than into women, to be fair.
Yes.
So it may have been just her misconception that he was coming on to her when in fact he was just being himself. You can imagine, because I think he was a bit of a sort of like old school actor and everything. Very that flirtatious aspect and stuff. So
yeah.
I can't imagine that he would have been coming on to her much.
Yeah, it's just the same thing like with Pamela Springsteen and Sleepaway Camp too. Like they don't want to talk about it, and I don't know if it's bad experiences.
But that's a whole different beast there, right?
Yeah.
I can completely understand. I made these slasher films in the 80s, and generally speaking, besides a very small pocket of people, it's not respected. I mean, those Sleepaway Camp sequels, they were video drac. I mean, if you like them, that's cool, but they were not something anyone wanted on their resume. It's something you did for cash.
I imagine Meg Tilly probably got a lot of attention because of Psycho 2, but she may, it's the kind.
Yeah, she was hot back then. Wow, Meg Tilly.
I'm not just talking about it's. I think it's more just like she would have been categorized as being someone who was in a horror film, and
but that's different.
She
now.
did good. She did play. Psycho 2 was great. Lauren will tell you he likes Psycho 2. I like Psycho 2. I love Psycho 2.
Most people who actually watch
I
it
really
liked
it.
To be honest, my memory of Psycho 2 is people actually liking it. I remember people liking it.
It was great.
When it first came out, Jamie?
Yeah.
I think the audience that knew what they were walking into did. But the polite film critic world was brutal to it. Just brutal.
Yeah, see, I don't remember it from that perspective, but I do remember the people in the neighborhood going to see it and then everybody coming home and talking about it and saying, "Oh my God, it was awesome. I loved it." And even the adults were worried about it at first, but it seemed like everybody liked it. So I don't know. I saw it. I liked it. I think it's,
Me too,
I think
Jim.
it's fantastic.
Me too,
honestly.
Jamie. Me too.
I think the Me Too might be the problem. All right, guys, we've been going for 3 hours and 50 minutes in just a few moments. So I have a few announcements we need to get out of the way, and then we'll wrap it up. But before we wrap it up, I'm going to need something from Mr. Orc before we leave. But in the meantime, before we do that, I just want to showcase what's coming up on the channel, if I can push the right damn button. So that takes us to the end of the month. Obviously, Region Free will be on the Region Free channel, not on this channel, but it is mandatory that all who watch this video go over and enjoy that first premiere episode on October 1st. Mr. Orc, sir, can I get you unmuted?
I'm excited.
Yo, what up, homie?
I need some words of wisdom of how to live life in these trying times from the Orc.
From me, how to live life during these trying times? Well, pardon my French, but don't be a cunt. That's number one. And then number two, game it up. Basically find a few hobbies you enjoy. I like gaming, watching horror movies. I like TV shows, but they just never end. I don't know if I'm alone on that, but I know you guys are big into Twin Peaks. I haven't even watched Ozark season 3. The season 1 and 2 are amazing. I watched 2 episodes into the third season, and I just can't do it. I've watched Breaking Bad.
It's a different experience. Breaking Bad's awesome.
Like, I mean, I'm involved to shit, but when like World of Warcraft came out in 2004, and people were like letting their kids die by accident by like getting addicted, I'm like, I was never that addicted, man. Like, let's be real about that. Come
Letting
on.
their kids die.
Yeah.
Wow.
In South Korea and in Japan, they'd go into PC bangs, is what they'd call them.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, and they would just like they'd play for like 60 hours and just be like, oh, they'd be like,
And they forgot
Runjato,
they had a
are you
baby at
there? And he's
home.
just like, it's like dead on the fucking
Yep.
chair. Yeah, but I don't know. I just say find a few hobbies that you really enjoy doing and keep doing them. I don't know. I don't think a full good vaccine that works effectively is gonna come out until probably at least May of next year. So here in the States, which most of us live in.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Orc is developing his own vaccine.
So, but hey, I'd recommend movies, TV, listening to music, playing instruments is a big one. I wish I had more funds to do that. I had a keyboard and guitar, but it got left in Colorado. Let me see what else. Yeah, just do anything that's enjoyable. And then if you're like, oh, I don't have any money or whatever, or maybe you need to sell your collection to I don't know, pay bills or some shit because stimulus checks, quote unquote. There's always the library, which is always dope. And then you can always chip in and go like quarters or halves on Netflix accounts. So maybe illegal, but I don't really care. So, yeah.
So I took a take from all that if you're in Egypt at noon in Cairo, and a voice whispers over your shoulder, you're going to hear, do what thou will shall be the whole of the law. Jamie, how do we survive?
What does that mean?
That's a Satanist thing, actually. Do
Aleister
what
Crowley.
thou wilt, but harm none. Do what thou wilt.
It's not like they invented it. They just.
It's Thelema. It's Thelema.
It is.
So that's not like
Yeah, I know
Alu
myself.
Akbar. That's not that.
Yeah, but Jamie, you do
No.
realise that Satanism is just a load of made-up bullshit, right?
I know. I know all about that stuff. Aleister Crowley and the whole. I know all the history behind it. I did a lot of
Church of the
study
New
for 10
Dawn,
years.
baby.
Wait, hang on. I got a question to ask James. James, if I come over to the UK, I gotta visit DJ Donnelly, and then at all the pubs and stuff that you guys have over there. Even though I'm Irish, do you guys have Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi? Because that's my shit. I'm a
They have
truther, bro.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, we have everything you have apart from who is DJ Donnelly?
My harasser.
He's a good
Another
guy.
one, not another one. Anyway, I mean,
no. Okay.
Anyway, I welcome you with open arms, especially come to Derby. It's a great place. Just beautiful.
Yep.
I can vouch for that.
This is an interesting magazine, if no one's ever seen it, called Movie. And in there, there's like it's from 1980. This has got a whole bit about American Werewolf in London. Just found it yesterday. Schlock horror and all this kind of. Really in depth,
That's cool.
That's cool.
Pictures of scanners and stuff like that, So, but it's like they don't really make stuff like this anymore. It's like when they say culture has dumbed down, it's actually a fact. It's not just sort of like a joke,
I'm evidence of that, lol.
Jonathan.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Jonathan, what is your prescription for the nation?
What, to fix it? Because I can't talk about that stuff.
Whatever you want to do.
Well, if you need something to do during quarantine, there are many episodes available on the sportsdoorspodcast.com. I know that's where I get my entertainment. So that's what I would recommend everyone to do during quarantine.
Excellent. Jess, what do you have to say?
Nothing.
Maybe you can't even hear you. I don't know.
It's kind of the White Album of responses.
It's really
James?
up there with that, I would say. Yeah, I think wash your hands and wear a mask. And if you've got family and friends nearby, basically try and help them as much as possible. That's all I would say.
Cool. Al, final thoughts for the evening.
Thanks for having me on, Lauren. I don't have a channel, but horror fans, anybody who likes horror, subscribe to Lauren, subscribe to Mr. Bombastic, subscribe to Jamie, subscribe to Orc, subscribe to Jess, and check out James' Sundays.
Am I on a delay?
Twin Peaks.
It's not just Sundays. The trouble is everyone focuses on the Sunday show, and that's not a bad thing by any means. But I do sometimes wonder, like, why it became this sort of religious event. You know, like we all gather on Sundays. I mean, you know, like when I was doing Bring Back Twin Peaks, we literally did it as a joke. We set up like the church of Bring Back Twin Peaks, and I'm not making fun of religion or Satanism or any of it. You know, I'm saying there may be, you know, truths in it, but a lot of the Twin Peaks fans were like, you guys need sectioning. You know, you guys are just crazy people and wrong.
I'm offended.
Like, get off the internet now. And, you know, so it's strange, really. I can't remember what point I was making now, to be honest, but anyway.
You were saying that it's crazy that everybody would come to see our show at the same time every week.
Yeah. I mean, Sunday is traditionally here, like, you know, church day, and that I associate it with that kind of thing, even though, you know,
it's not like that here in America. No, not at all.
Okay, one last try from Jess. Final words.
I don't think he hears us.
I don't think he does either.
He's on some epic stream delay, man. It's like 5-minute delay.
I didn't get my say, so I just want to tell you people out there, Orc's right. Find a good hobby. Find a good hobby. Find something that you love to do during these crazy times.
Have you seen what?
Lawn darts are always good. Misandry.
It's okay. I'm done.
It's just Joe Bob's comment in the.
Flipper's come back. Hello.
3.5 hours sitting down. It's hard on the knees, people. And he's put hard on in all caps.
Hard on.
Yeah.
It's a slight sophisticated humor. What's that all about?
Okay, Joe, let's take it all the way out. Your final thoughts.
Take it all the way out.
Damn. Act like you got some smarts.
Act like it. Don't actually have them.
I eat them all the time. That's why I'm so fucking fat.
It's the same for me. It's the same for Andy Griffin.
All right. So what I have to say is find something to be passionate about, be passionate, and let people know that you're passionate. All the other stuff, let it just roll right under you. Don't give it the power to take down your day. And always make sure the people around you make your life better and not worse, and only surround yourself with the people who are committed to you the way you are to them. Other than that, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you very soon.
Ask for consent.
Ev, I want to talk to Martin.
So talk.
Alone.
Crisp, flavorful fish sandwiches, golden brown and crunchy outside.
Everybody knows the weasel blows, but popcorn, she pops real good.